skills. Agriculture means, horticulture. Agriculture means poultry, livestock, fisheries. Everywhere Bangladesh has done so much, mainly because of the very lavish support given by the government. Some people call it subsidy, but Bangladesh government and we too call it investment. We have invested so much in agriculture that it has given us not only the consumption level, but also the demand, which really takes the economy forward. So Bangladesh has been doing pretty well, and in the coming days, I think one of the factors, one of the drivers of Bangladesh growth will remain the farm sector. We have been growing over the last decade more than 3%. That gives us the strength that economy will move forward. Bangladesher এই যে অর্থনীতির এই যে শক্তি, এই শক্তির জোরেই আমরা কিন্তু এখন এই দক্ষিণ এশিয়া এবং দক্ষিণ পূর্ব এশিয়ার মধ্যে সবচেয়ে বাড়ন্ত দেশ বাংলাদেশ। তবে এর পাশাপাশি এটাও মাথায় রাখতে হবে যে আমাদের সামনে এখনো বড় বড় চ্যালেঞ্জ আছে। অর্থনীতি আড়মোড়া ভেঙে উঠে দাঁড়াচ্ছে ঠিকই, কিন্তু নতুন ভাবে দারিদ্র্য রেখার নিচে চলে যাওয়া কোটি পরিবার, চলে যাওয়া অনেক পরিবার আমি বলবো, আনুষ্ঠানিক অনানুষ্ঠানিক খাতে যুক্ত থাকা শ্রমশক্তির কর্মসংস্থান পুনর্সৃষ্টি, কৃষি সহ ক্ষুদ্র ও মাঝারি উদ্যোক্তাগুলোকে যথাযথ সমর্থন দেয়া এবং সর্বোপরি কার্যকরভাবে স্বাস্থ্য খাতকে গণমুখী করে ঢেলে সাজানো সম্ভব না হলে এতদিনকার সামষ্টিক অর্থনৈতিক অর্জন কিন্তু আমরা ধরে রাখতে পারবো কিনা সেটা সন্দেহ। হুমকির মুখে পড়তে পারে 2 দশকের মধ্যে 2 অঙ্কের প্রবৃদ্ধি হার অর্জনের স্বপ্নটিও। সুতরাং this is also important. There are challenges. We should not undermine those challenges. There are challenges, and we need to invest in people. We need to invest in low carbon growth. We need to invest in digital technology. We should take advantage of the digital transformation that we already have, and in terms of government, in terms of e-learning, in terms of remote working that we are doing, and of course the payment system. Our payment system is so digital, so inclusive. Even the beggars can bank in Bangladesh. Even the rickshaw pullers can bank in Bangladesh with our mobile and agent banking. So I thought we should not lose heart, but we should be also careful about the challenges we are talking about. তবে আশার কথা এই যে এই মহা দুর্যোগ আমাদের সামনে নতুন অনেক সুযোগ উন্মোচিত করেছে। এই সুযোগগুলো কাজে লাগাতে পারলে আগে যেমনটা ভাবা হচ্ছিল তার চেয়ে অনেক দ্রুত গতিতে এবং আরো বেশি মাত্রায় অন্তর্ভুক্তিমূলক উন্নয়ন সম্ভব হবে বলে মনে করছেন বিশেষজ্ঞরা। ইউরোপ ও উত্তর আমেরিকার অনেক বিনিয়োগকারীর করোনা ও তার পরবর্তী বৈশ্বিক প্রেক্ষাপটে চীন থেকে বিনিয়োগ সরিয়ে নিয়ে দক্ষিণ ও দক্ষিণ পূর্ব এশিয়ার দেশগুলোতে বিনিয়োগে আগ্রহী হয়ে ওঠাটা এসব সুযোগের মধ্যে অন্যতম প্রধান। নিঃসন্দেহে বলা যায় ইমার্জিং ইকোনমিগুলোর মধ্যে যারা যত বেশি বিনিয়োগ আকৃষ্ট করতে সক্ষম হবে আগামী দিনে তারা তত বেশি মাত্রায় মহামারী পরবর্তীকালের অর্থনৈতিক সুযোগগুলো কাজে লাগাতে সক্ষম হবে। এই কারণে ব্যবসা বাণিজ্যের পরিবেশ সহজীকরণ বা ইজ অফ ডুইং বিজনেস বিশেষ নীতি মনোযোগ একান্ত প্রয়োজন। The government has given a lot of stimulus to really recover the economy, but I think easing of the business itself can be one of the stimulus. The more we make the business easier, the more we make it simpler, the more we make it user friendly, that will be the stimulus. Business people don't always want money. They want the confidence, the business confidence, the easing of the business. And I thought Bangladesh is aware of it and moving forward in that direction, although we could do far better. গত 1 দশকের বেশি সময় ধরে বাংলাদেশের নীতি নির্ধারকরা এই দেশে বিনিয়োগ পরিস্থিতি উন্নয়নে বিশেষ মনোযোগ দিয়েছেন। এর সুফলও আমরা পেয়েছি। অর্থ বিভাগের তথ্য অনুসারে গত 1 দশকে মোট বিনিয়োগ বেড়েছে প্রায় 4 গুণের মতো। Our investment has increased 4 times over the last 1 decade. মোট বিনিয়োগ 2010 সালে যেটা ছিল 2093 বিলিয়ন টাকা, সেটা বেড়ে এটা এখন 18-19 অর্থ বছরে এটা 8005 বিলিয়ন টাকায় দাঁড়িয়েছে। এই সময়ে বিনিয়োগ জিডিপি অনুপাত বেড়েছে 6%-এরও বেশি। বিশ্বব্যাংকের সর্বশেষ ডুইং বিজনেস ইন্ডেক্স প্রতিবেদনে যেটা 2020 সালে বেরিয়েছে, কম্পেয়ারিং বিজনেস রেগুলেশন ইন 190 ইকোনমিক্স অনুসারে বাংলাদেশ আগের বছরের তুলনায় এগিয়েছে 8 ধাপ, 176তম দেশ থেকে 168তম দেশে। স্টিল it is not a very good picture because we are still much behind, but anyway things are improving at last. প্রতিবেদন অনুসারে বাংলাদেশের এই অগ্রগতির পেছনে প্রধান ভূমিকা রেখেছে 3টি বিষয়। একটা হলো নিবন্ধন সহ নতুন ব্যবসায়ী উদ্যোগ শুরু করবার ব্যয় হ্রাস, রাজধানী ও আশেপাশের এলাকায় শিল্প কারখানায় বিদ্যুৎ সংযোগ পাওয়ার প্রক্রিয়া সহজ হয়েছে এবং ঋণ বিষয়ক তথ্য প্রাপ্তির, অর্থাৎ যেটা বাংলাদেশ সিআইবি বলে, ক্রেডিট ইনফরমেশন ব্যুরো, এখন ল্যান্ডিং ইনফরমেশন সহ খুব সহজেই ইনফরমেশন পেতে পারে। এগুলোর কারণে বাংলাদেশের অবস্থান, ডুইং বিজনেস অবস্থান বেশ খানিকটা উন্নত হয়েছে। বিশেষজ্ঞ, উদ্যোক্তা শ্রেণী এবং আন্তর্জাতিক উন্নয়ন সহযোগী সহ বিভিন্ন অংশীজনের তরফ থেকে ব্যবসা বাণিজ্যের পরিবেশ উন্নয়নের জন্য লাইসেন্সিং ব্যয় কমানো, বিদ্যুৎ সংযোগ প্রাপ্তি সহজীকরণের মতো দাবিগুলো দেশের নীতি নির্ধারকরাও গুরুত্বের সাথে নিয়েছিলেন বলেই এসব ক্ষেত্রে উল্লেখযোগ্য মাত্রায় উন্নতি করা সম্ভব হয়েছে। তবে এখনো অনেকটাই পথ পাড়ি দিতে হবে। ব্যবসা বাণিজ্য সহজীকরণ বিষয়ে নীতি ও অনুশীলনে ইতিবাচক পরিবর্তনের মাধ্যমে ডুইং বিজনেস ইন্ডেক্সে অগ্রগতি নিঃসন্দেহে প্রশংসনীয় হলেও এক্ষেত্রে বাংলাদেশের এখনো অনেক পথ পাড়ি বাকি। 8 ধাপ অগ্রগতি হলেও বাংলাদেশ এখনো দক্ষিণ এশিয়ার দেশগুলোর মধ্যে কেবলমাত্র আফগানিস্তানের চেয়ে এগিয়ে। 2014 থেকে 2018 সময়কালে ভারত এবং ইন্দোনেশিয়ায় জিডিপি বিদেশি বিনিয়োগের অনুপাত কমে আসার পরে ওই দুই দেশের এই অনুপাত বাংলাদেশের তুলনায় বেশি, যথাক্রমে 1.5 এবং 2.1%। মায়ানমার ও ভিয়েতনামের ক্ষেত্রেও এই অনুপাত আরো বেশি, যথাক্রমে 5.1% ও 6%। বিশ্বব্যাংকের ডুইং বিজনেস ইন্ডেক্স প্রতিবেদনে আগামীতে বাংলাদেশের বারবার বিজনেস পরিবেশ উন্নয়নের অনেক কিছু করার প্রয়োজনীয়তার কথা বলা হয়েছে। এই প্রতিবেদন অনুসারে সম্পত্তি নিবন্ধন প্রক্রিয়ার জটিলতা, লাইসেন্সিং, the registering land still remains a challenge. চুক্তির শর্ত বাস্তবায়নের শিথিলতা, enforcement of the contracts is still not easy. দেউলিয়া ঘোষণা প্রক্রিয়া, insolvency, declaring insolvency is still a problem. এখনো বাংলাদেশের জন্য বড় চ্যালেঞ্জ হিসেবে রয়ে গেছে। ব্যক্তি খাতের বিকাশের যথাযথ পরিবেশ তৈরি করতে এই প্রতিবন্ধকতাগুলো অতিক্রম করা অত্যন্ত জরুরি। আইএফসির একটি সাম্প্রতিক জরিপ থেকে জানা গেছে যে বিনিয়োগকারীদের এই দেশে ব্যবসা শুরু করতে অন্তত 23টি অফিসে ধর্ণা দিতে হয় এবং ব্যবসা চালিয়ে নিতে 150 ধরনের রেগুলেটরি সার্ভিস নিতে হয়। এছাড়াও ব্যবসা বাণিজ্য সংক্রান্ত দপ্তরগুলোর মধ্যে সমন্বয়ের অভাবের কারণে অনেক ক্ষেত্রে একই ডকুমেন্ট বহুবার বহু জায়গায় জমা দিতে হয়। একটা প্রতিষ্ঠান যদি একটা ডকুমেন্ট ক্লিয়ার করে আরেকটা প্রতিষ্ঠান আবারও কেন জমা নিতে হবে? অনলাইনে বললেই তো হয় যে অমুক অমুক আমি জমা দিয়েছিলাম, সেটা দেখুন, তাহলেই তো পরিষ্কারটা হয়ে যায়। এই কাজগুলো আমাদের এখনো করতে বাকি আছে। মোট কথা, বাংলাদেশে উদ্যোক্তাদের অস্বচ্ছতা, সমন্বয়হীনতা এবং অনিশ্চয়তা মোকাবেলা করে এগুতে হয় এবং অনেক চ্যালেঞ্জ মোকাবেলা করে চলতে হয়। So I must congratulate the Bangladeshi entrepreneurs because there is so much of hurdles, yet they are really going forward. ব্যবসার পরিবেশ উন্নয়নে আমাদের নীতি নির্ধারকদের সদিচ্ছা নিয়ে সন্দেহের কোনো অবকাশ নেই। অবশ্যই তারা নিজস্ব বাস্তবতার নিরিখে উদ্ভাবনী কর্মসূচির আওতায় দ্রুততম সময়ের মধ্যে লক্ষ্য অর্জনের চেষ্টা করবেন। চ্যালেঞ্জটি দুরূহ বটে, তবে সমতুল্য অন্য দেশগুলোর অভিজ্ঞতা থেকে আমরা শিক্ষা নিতে পারি। এক্ষেত্রে বিশেষভাবে উল্লেখ করা যেতে পারে ইন্দোনেশিয়ার কথা। মাত্র 2 বছর সময়ের ব্যবধানে ইন্দোনেশিয়া ডুইং বিজনেস ইন্ডেক্সের তালিকায় তাদের অবস্থান 106 ছিল, সেখান থেকে 72-এ নিয়ে আসতে সক্ষম হয়েছে। দেশটি ডুইং বিজনেস সূচকের সবগুলো দিকে একই সঙ্গে উন্নতির চেষ্টা না করে যেগুলো তাদের পক্ষে দ্রুত এবং সম্পূর্ণভাবে অর্জন করা সম্ভব সেগুলো অর্জনে মনোযোগী হয়েছে। অন্যদিকে তালিকায় শীর্ষে 10-এ থাকা একমাত্র উন্নয়নশীল দেশ জর্জিয়া 12% জিডিপি প্রবৃদ্ধি নিয়ে 63 ধাপ এগিয়ে গিয়েছে বিভিন্ন সাহসী ও সময়োচিত পদক্ষেপের দ্রুত বাস্তবায়ন নিশ্চিতকরণের মাধ্যমে। সে দেশে ব্যবসা নিবন্ধনের আবেদনের 30 দিনের মধ্যে অনুমোদন এবং একই দলিল একাধিক সরকারি দপ্তরে যেন জমা দিতে না হয় তার ব্যবস্থা করা হয়েছে। In fact, if you submit a business proposal, or business registration or anything, any document you got to be cleared by 30 days. If you don't do it by 30 days, then you can assume that this has been cleared. This is the situation in Georgia, and one of the non-resident Georgian coming from Canada took the lead and made that in a transformation possible. And she was really then imported to Indonesia, and she did a lot for Indonesia as well. আমাদের জন্য সন্তোষের বিষয় এই যে করোনা পরবর্তী অর্থনীতি পুনরুদ্ধার প্রক্রিয়া ত্বরান্বিত করতে বিডার পক্ষ থেকেও ইতিমধ্যে উদ্যোগ গ্রহণ করা হয়েছে। আগামীতে ডুইং বিজনেস ইন্ডেক্সের বিচারে আরো উন্নত করার লক্ষ্যে বিডা সরকারের সংশ্লিষ্ট মন্ত্রণালয় বিভাগগুলোর কাছে 84টি নীতি প্রস্তাবনা পেশ করেছে। এর মধ্যে উল্লেখযোগ্যগুলো হলো নিবন্ধনের জন্য ট্রেড লাইসেন্স বাধ্যতামূলকের বিধান বাতিল, মিউনিসিপ্যালিটি ট্যাক্স 1% নামিয়ে আনা, ন্যাশনাল পেমেন্ট সুইচের মাধ্যমে এককালীন 2 লক্ষ টাকা পর্যন্ত ট্রান্সফারের ব্যবস্থা করা, নতুন ভ্যাট আইন বাস্তবায়ন, মাসিক ভ্যাট পেমেন্টের পরিবর্তে ত্রৈমাসিক ভ্যাট প্রদানের ব্যবস্থা করা ইত্যাদি। সর্বশেষ ডুইং বিজনেস ইন্ডেক্সে যে ক্ষেত্রে উন্নতির যথেষ্ট সুযোগ রয়েছে বলে বলা হয়েছিল সেগুলোর দিকে মনোযোগ দেওয়ার চেষ্টা বিডা আর দিক থেকে করা হয়েছে বলেই দেখা যাচ্ছে, যা খুবই আশাব্যঞ্জক। I want to congratulate BIDA to come forward even strongly to really push this agenda forward. ব্যবসার পরিবেশ উন্নয়ন আমাদের সামষ্টিক অর্থনৈতিক লক্ষ্য অর্জনের জন্য যেমন সহায়ক হবে, তেমনি করোনা পরবর্তীকালে বিশ্ব অর্থনীতিতে যে নতুন সুযোগ তৈরি হবে তা কাজে লাগানোর জন্য এটা দরকার। নতুন কিরকম সুযোগ তৈরি হতে পারে? As I said, agriculture will remain the number one in a important factor for us. আমাদের we need to change our energy mix. Probably we'll have to move faster towards renewables. That will be another opportunity. The Indians are doing it pretty fast. They have already achieved about 23% of the total energy production in renewables, and they want to go up to 40% by 2030, and we are still 1 or 2%. So there lies one opportunity. Secondly, we need to leverage the information technology, ICT, and startups. The younger people, they really want to do many things, and they are multidisciplinary, multi-sectoral. So there is an opportunity there. Ships also can take place in the supply chains. We are already in our domestic supply chains got disrupted because of the COVID. Global supply chains also got disrupted. So ওই জায়গাগুলোতে আমাদের এখন কাজ করবার যথেষ্ট সুযোগ আছে, and we are in the middle of a growth triangle. On the one side there is China, on the other side India, and there is Southeast Asia, and we are in the middle. So we can really leverage our global value chains, if you like, and infrastructure, of course, is the biggest force which will be pushing, and we are really investing a lot on infrastructure, particularly mega infrastructure. We are also working for special economic zones, and all these will really attract a lot of investment. We hope so. সুতরাং আমাদের যেটা করতে হবে এখন তাড়াতাড়ি ব্যবসা বাণিজ্যের নিয়ম সহজকরণ করে ফেলতে হবে, এবং এগুলোকে বিশেষ করে কৃষি এবং আমাদের ক্ষুদ্র ও মাঝারি উদ্যোগগুলোর জন্য আমাদের অনেক বেশি কাজ করতে হবে। সরকার ইতিমধ্যেই কৃষি এবং সহজ এসএমইর জন্য অনেকগুলো স্টিমুলাস প্যাকেজ তারা খুলেছে, প্রায় 30,000 কোটি টাকার মতো স্টিমুলাস প্যাকেজ এই দুটো সেক্টরের জন্য তারা করেছে। এখন আমাদের সামনে যেটা দরকার সেটি হলো এই স্টিমুলাস গুলো ঘোষণা হয়েছে, কিন্তু এগুলোকে বাস্তবে কার্যকরী করতে ব্যবসার পরিবেশ উন্নয়নের জন্য কাজ করতে হবে। এর ক্ষেত্রে বিডা শুধু নয়, সমস্ত পক্ষকে, সকল প্রতিষ্ঠানগুলোকে এগিয়ে আসতে হবে। আমরা we are lucky to have a strong leader like our honorable Prime Minister. বঙ্গবন্ধু কন্যার নেতৃত্বে গত 1 দশকে বাংলাদেশ ঠিক পথে এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে। এর ধারাবাহিকতা বজায় রাখলে করোনা পরবর্তী পরিস্থিতি কাটিয়ে বাংলাদেশ স্বল্পতম সময়ে 2 অঙ্কের প্রবৃদ্ধির ধারায় চলে যেতে পারবে বলে মনে হচ্ছে। এই মুহূর্তে দেশি বিদেশি বিনিয়োগ আকৃষ্ট করাটা আমাদের প্রধান লক্ষ্যগুলোর মধ্যে অন্যতম। তবে আমাদের সামনে যে চ্যালেঞ্জগুলো রয়েছে সেগুলো কার্যকরভাবে মোকাবেলা করতে গতানুগতিকার বাইরে গিয়ে আউট অফ বক্স ভাবনার কোনো বিকল্প নেই। নিঃসন্দেহে আমাদের সে যোগ্যতা ও দক্ষতা রয়েছে। আমাদের তরুণ জনগোষ্ঠী, সম্ভাবনাময় কৃষি ও এসএমই খাত, বিদেশি বিনিয়োগের সুযোগ, আন্তর্জাতিক বাণিজ্যের হাব হয়ে ওঠার সম্ভাবনা এবং সর্বোপরি দেশের ভেতরের ক্রমবর্ধমান চাহিদার বিবেচনায় আমরা একটি শক্তিশালী সামষ্টিক অর্থনৈতিক ভবিষ্যতে দেখতে পাচ্ছি। So these were the areas I wanted to focus. Just to conclude, as I told you, this is that all pandemics can also bring a lot of opportunities. I think this is the time we should really seize this opportunity, and for that matter we must invest in people, in education, in health, social protection, in preventing the sharp increase in inequality. Inequality is one of the problems that has been really creating a lot of crisis, and we must also support low carbon and climate resilient growth, and we must give smart allocations for public spending or budget for green recovery. We must take advantage of the digital transformation, whether through the greater use of the e-government. Bangladesh is pushing the digital Bangladesh, which means efficiency and transparency. And also we want to cut all the red tapes. Every services should be online. One service, one-stop service, as Bida has been telling us, e-learning and remote working. And if we can move in that directions and ease all the complexities in running the state and the government, and if we can bring in the private sector, the NGOs, the government together, I'm sure I see a very bright future for Bangladesh. I think সোনার বাংলা স্বপ্ন আমাদের জাতির পিতা দেখেছিলেন, কিন্তু আমরা যদি এগিয়ে যেতে পারি এবং একসঙ্গে কাজ করতে পারি এবং ভরসা রাখতে পারি আমাদের নিজেদের উপরে এবং নেতৃত্বের উপরে, নিশ্চয়ই সেই সোনার বাংলা অর্জন সম্ভব হবে। এবং এই জায়গায় আমাদের প্রাইভেট সেক্টর উইল প্লে ভেরি ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট রোল, এবং ব্যক্তি খাতের এবং রাষ্ট্রীয় খাত মিলেই আমরা একটা সোনার বাংলা করব। I think I will stop here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Atiur Rahman sir. This is a very insightful presentation from you. And dear ladies and gentlemen, now the time is for question and answer session. You can ask any question to our honorable speaker, Dr. Atiur Rahman sir. The floor is open. In that case, you can just unmute your mic, then you can ask question, then again mute your mic, please. Any question from anyone?
বাংলাতেই বলো, অসুবিধা নেই।
Thank you very much, sir. Dear viewers, আমরা এখন চাচ্ছি যে আপনারা যে কোনো ধরনের প্রশ্ন করতে পারেন আমাদের আজকের স্পিকার ডক্টর আতিউর রহমান স্যারের কাছে। যদি আপনাদের যে কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকে স্যারের কাছ থেকে জানা এই ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল বিষয় নিয়ে অথবা যে কোনো বিষয় এই বিজনেস পার্সপেক্টিভে, স্যারের মতো এরকম একজন আসলে ইনসাইটফুল মানুষ এই সময় পাওয়াটা খুবই আমাদের জন্য ভাগ্যের ব্যাপার। সো সেই জায়গাটা আপনারা পাচ্ছেন স্যারকে সামনে। সো আপনি যে কোনো ধরনের প্রশ্ন আপনার মনে এসেছে
বলতে না হয়তো চ্যাট বক্সে তুমি লিখো, চ্যাট বক্সে লিখো,
বা চ্যাট বক্সেও আপনারা লিখতে পারেন। চ্যাট বক্সটা ওপেন আছে, সো সেখান থেকেও আমরা প্রশ্নটা পিক করতে পারবো। স্যার এমনিতে আমার একটা প্রশ্ন ছিল স্যার।
হ্যাঁ বলো তো, ইউ আর দ্য হোস্ট, ইউ শুড
থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ স্যার। আমার একটা প্রশ্ন ছিল, এই যে বাংলাদেশ ব্যাংক বর্তমানে চেষ্টা করছে বিভিন্নভাবে যারা এন্টারপ্রেনার আছে তাদেরকে সাপোর্ট করতে, তাদের এই বিজনেসটাকে বিশেষ করে এসএমই যারা তাদেরকে অনেক বেশি এগিয়ে নিয়ে আসতে। তো এই ক্ষেত্রে দেখা যাচ্ছে আমি অনেককে দেখেছি আমাদের এই সেক্টরে যারা কিনা আসলে এই সাপোর্টটা পাচ্ছে না। এখন আপনি তো একজন এক্সপার্ট, এই জায়গাটায় স্যার আপনার আসলে পরামর্শটা কি, যে তারা আসলে এই জিনিসটা কিভাবে আসলে সহজে পেতে পারে যারা
আসলে ইমপ্লিমেন্টেশন ম্যাটার্স, প্রজ্ঞাপন তুমি দিনের পর দিন দিতে পারো, কিচ্ছু আসে যায় না যদি সেটা ইমপ্লিমেন্টেশন না হয়। সুতরাং বাস্তবায়নটাই হলো প্রধান কথা। এবং বাংলাদেশ ব্যাংক এবং গভর্নমেন্ট ভালো বেশ কিছু কাজ করেছেন, কিন্তু এগুলো সত্যি মানুষের হাতে পৌঁছছে কিনা তার জন্য কতগুলো প্রাতিষ্ঠানিক কিছু মনিটরিং ব্যবস্থা করা উচিত বলে সরকার ইতিমধ্যেই একবার সেন্ট্রাল ব্যাংক ডেকেছে ব্যাংকগুলোকে, তাদের উপরে চাপ সৃষ্টি করছে, তারা সময় নিচ্ছে, ভালো কথা, কিন্তু আমাদের একটা প্রাতিষ্ঠানিক কাঠামো থাকা দরকার। আমি কদিন আগে লিখেছি এটার উপরে। একটা হলো যে আমাদের একটা রেজাল্টস বেসড মনিটরিং একটা ইনস্টিটিউশনাল কাঠামো থাকতে হবে। সেন্ট্রাল ব্যাংক এটাকে তোমার কেন্দ্র সাচিবিক দায়িত্ব পালন করতে পারে। এখানে মিনিস্ট্রি অফ ফাইন্যান্স, চেম্বারের প্রতিনিধি, ব্যাংক অ্যাসোসিয়েশন অফ যে ব্যাংকার্স যেটা ABB, তার প্রতিনিধি, এবং তোমার এমআরএ প্রতিনিধি এবং কোনো বিশেষজ্ঞকে নিতে পারেন, নিয়ে দেখবেন যে আসলে এই মুহূর্তে আমার যে কোন ডিস্ট্রিক্টে কত স্টিমুলাস প্যাকেজ যাওয়ার কথা ছিল, সেইখানে কি হয়েছে, আদৌ কি সে টাকাটা গেছে। একটা এসএমই এবং কৃষির জন্য প্রত্যেক ডিস্ট্রিক্ট কমিশনার, ডেপুটি কমিশনারের নেতৃত্বে একটা মনিটরিং এবং সুপারভাইজারি কমিটি তৈরি করা হয়েছে। বাংলাদেশ ব্যাংক তাদের সাথে রেগুলার যোগাযোগ রাখবে। আমাদের 8টা তোমার শাখা আছে বাংলাদেশ ব্যাংকের, সেই শাখাগুলোর মাধ্যমে তারা এই পুরো এলাকাতে কাজগুলো সত্যি সত্যি হচ্ছে কিনা দেখবে। এবং ঢাকা শহরেও নারী উদ্যোক্তা 15% তারা সাপোর্ট পাবার কথা, তারা কি পাচ্ছে কিনা, এর জন্য একটা ডিজিটাল ড্যাশবোর্ড তৈরি করা। গতকাল কতজন পেয়েছে, আজকে কতজন অ্যাপ্লাই করেছে, কত দিনের মধ্যে সেই অ্যাপ্লিকেশনটা তোমার করতে হবে, ফাইনাল করতে হবে, এগুলো প্রতিদিন মনিটর করতে হবে এবং মনিটর করে এটা ওই কমিটিকে বলতে হবে। এবং এইভাবে না এগুলে শুধু শুধু খালি বলে রাখলে এবং কেউ করবে না। এই জন্য আমাদের একটা রেজাল্টস বেসড। আরেকটা হলো গ্রিভেন্স, তোমার একটা বলবার, আমি পেলাম না, আমার কথাটা বলবার একটা জায়গা থাকতে হবে। বাংলাদেশ ব্যাংকে কিন্তু কাস্টমার ইন্টারেস্ট প্রোটেকশন সেন্টার বলে একটা সিআইপিসি আছে, যাদের একটা হটলাইন আছে 16236। এই জায়গাটাতে আরো জনবল দিয়ে, আরো টেকনোলজি দিয়ে এই গ্রিভেন্স সেটেলমেন্ট কমিটিটাকে আরো শক্তিশালী করে মানুষ যেন যদি কোথাও বাধা পাচ্ছে সাথে সাথে জানাতে পারে, এবং জানানোর সাথে সাথে দে উইল বি ইন অ্যাকশন। মাহফুজ জানে যে আমরা কিভাবে এগুলোতে অ্যাকশনে যেতাম। সুতরাং আমার মনে হয় এই কাজ দুটো করলে পরে অনেকটা পথ এগিয়ে যেতে পারবো বলে আমার কাছে মনে হয়।
অনেক ধন্যবাদ স্যার। আমার কাছে প্রাইভেটলি একজন একটা প্রশ্ন করেছেন আপনার কাছে বলার জন্য স্যার, সেটা ছিল এরকম যে বর্তমানে অনেকেই অনলাইনে বিজনেস করছে। সো এই যে অনলাইনে যারা কমার্স বলি বা ই কমার্স বলি, এই দুইটা মাধ্যমে তো বিজনেস হচ্ছে এবং বাংলাদেশে এই কোভিড এর মধ্যে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে এটার পরিমাণটা অনেক বেড়ে গেছে। সো এইখানে যারা ব্যবসা করছেন তাদের ক্ষেত্রে বাংলাদেশ ব্যাংক অথবা যারা ব্যাংকিং সেক্টর, তারা কি কোন রকম এগিয়ে আসতে পারে কিনা তাদেরকে সাপোর্ট দেওয়ার জন্য?
অবশ্যই এগিয়ে আসতে পারে। এই যে তারা ব্যবসা করছে, এটা তো অনলাইনে, তাই না? অনলাইনে যেহেতু ব্যবসা করছে, অনলাইনে তুমি তো বুঝো ডেটা আছে, এবং আজকের দিনের ব্যবসা কিন্তু ডেটা ম্যানেজমেন্ট, ডেটা অ্যানালিটিক্স। ওই যে গ্রুপটা, মনে করো এক্স একটা মহিলা উদ্যোক্তা, তার ঘরে বসে তিনি ব্যবসা করছেন, গত 3 মাসে তিনি কত টাকা বিক্রি করেছেন, কত কাঁচামাল কিনেছেন, এই সব খবর কিন্তু অনলাইনে তার কাছে আছে, তাই না? তো সুতরাং সেই ডেটাটা অ্যানালাইসিস করে একটা ব্যাংকে বলা যে এই মেয়েটিকে ও তো গত 3 মাসে 15 লক্ষ টাকা বিক্রি করেছে, আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি, তাই না? তার ডেটা থেকে দেখতে পাচ্ছি। সুতরাং ওই ডেটা অ্যানালাইসিস করে একটি ব্যাংক তাকে 5 লক্ষ টাকা বিনা কোলাটারালে কেন দিতে পারবে না? এইরকম করে আমাদের ইনোভেটিভ ওয়েতে এগিয়ে যেতে হবে এবং তাদের জন্য কাজ করতে হবে। আমাদের 6.5 লক্ষ তোমার ফ্রিল্যান্সার আছে, এরাও কিন্তু অনলাইন ব্যবসা করছে, সারা পৃথিবীতে এখন অনলাইনে ব্যবসা করছে। বারমুডা বলেছে যে এরকম ব্যবসায়ীরা যদি তাদের দেশে চলে আসে, তাদেরকে ওয়েলকাম করবে, তাদের কাছে কোনো ট্যাক্স নিবে না, এরকম করে তাদেরকে প্রলোভন দেখাচ্ছে। তা আমরা কেন পারবো না? তা আমরা এই ছেলে মেয়েগুলো যারা ঘরে বসে 6.5 লক্ষ ফ্রিল্যান্সার কাজ করছে, যদি $20,000 করে বছরে তারা আনে, তার মানে $13 বিলিয়ন আনছে। নট এ ম্যাটার অফ জোক। তাদের জন্য আমরা কি করছি? তাদেরকে পেমেন্টের একটা সহজ উপায় এখনো বের করে দিতে পারিনি। তারা পেপল এর জন্য বসে আছে, আমরা আনতে পারিনি, ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু আমাদের পেপল আমরা কেন করতে পারবো না? আমরা বাংলাদেশের ব্যাংক, মোবাইল ব্যাংক, সেন্ট্রাল ব্যাংক মিলে আমরা একটা ইজি পেমেন্ট সিস্টেম এমন ভাবে করব, যখনই আমরা কাজটা করব সেই কাজে আমি বলবো যে দিস ইজ মাই নাম্বার, দিস ইজ মাই অ্যাকাউন্ট নাম্বার, প্লিজ সেন্ড দ্য মানি হিয়ার, এন্ড ইট উইল কাম অটোমেটিক্যালি থ্রু মোবাইল এবং আমার কাছে চলে আসবে। এর জন্য কি করতে হবে? ও ব্যাংক যেটা বলবে যে তার তো বিজনেস তোমার ট্রেড লাইসেন্স নাই, তার ভ্যাট লাইসেন্স নাই, কিচ্ছু লাগবে না। তাদেরকে শুধু বলো যে আইসিটি ডিভিশনের সাথে তাদের রেজিস্ট্রেশন করতে হবে। ওই রেজিস্ট্রেশন উইল বিকাম দ্য লাইসেন্স। ওই লাইসেন্স থেকেই সে যা যা সুবিধা দরকার এগুলো আমরা তাকে দেব। তার খালি এনআইডি নাম্বার আর সেই রেজিস্ট্রেশনটা থাকলেই চলবে। এবং বাংলাদেশ ব্যাংক উইল মেক ইট এ পয়েন্ট। আমি মনে আছে আমাদের সময় আমরা ভার্চুয়াল ক্রেডিট কার্ড করেছিলাম, যারা ক্রেডিট কার্ডের খুলতে পারছে না তাদের জন্য ব্যাংকে বলেছিলাম যে তুমি একটা ক্রেডিট কার্ড খুলো, ওই কার্ড খুলে ছেলে মেয়েরা যারা বিদেশে পরীক্ষা দিতে চায় তাদেরকে ওই ক্রেডিট কার্ডে পয়সা তাদেরকে দেওয়ার ব্যবস্থা করো। তাহলে আমরা আজকেও কেন একটা পেপল টাইপ একটা পেমেন্ট সিস্টেম দাঁড় করাতে পারবো না, যেটা আমার এই 6.5 লক্ষ ছেলে মেয়ে যাদের কথা মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী সেদিন বলেছিলেন যে এদেরকে আমরা সম্মান দিতে পারি না, তারা বিয়েও করতে পারে না, এরকম অবস্থা হয়েছে, সম্মান দিতে পারে না, ওরা কি করে কেউ জানে না। আমার মনে হয় যে তাদের জন্য একটা ক্যাম্পেইন আমাদের করতে হবে এবং আমাদের এগিয়ে নিয়ে যেতে হবে এদেরকে সঙ্গে নিয়ে। এবং দিস ইজ পসিবল, আই টেল ইউ, Bangladesh has done miracle. You know, even if the rickshaw pullers can bank through mobile banking, why can't these people get this kind of services from the state? I think this is possible.
থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ স্যার, আই হোপ এটা একটা ভালো কিছু হবে। স্যার আরেকটা প্রশ্ন এসেছে,
আমি ইশতিয়াক বলছি, ইশতিয়াক আহমদ চৌধুরী।
হ্যাঁ
স্যার প্লিজ স্যার।
স্যার আমি আজকে আপনার কথা শুনছিলাম, আমার ছোট্ট একটা প্রশ্ন, যে কোভিড-19 যখন শুরু হলো মার্চে, তখন সবাই মনে করেছিল আমাদের জিডিপি গ্রোথটা একদম মাইনাসে চলে যেতে পারে, কিন্তু আমরা এই জুলাইতে গিয়ে দেখলাম আমাদের জিডিপি গ্রোথ 5.24%, এবং এটা নিয়ে অনেকেই অনেক কিছু বলতেছে। তো স্যার এই ব্যাপারে আপনি আর হোয়াট ইজ ইউর অপিনিয়ন যে আমাদের জিডিপি?
আমি কিন্তু ইশতিয়াক, আমি আমার মতামত বাজেটের পরপরই দিয়েছিলাম এবং আমি বলেছিলাম যে এটা কোনো অবস্থাতেই 5% কম হবে না, এবং তার ব্যাখ্যাটা আমি এইভাবে দিয়েছিলাম যে আমাদের কিন্তু মার্চ পর্যন্ত ইকোনমি ওয়াজ ইন দ্য নর্মাল শেপ, তাই না? মাত্র 3 মাস আমরা এই কোভিড এর আকারে, তার মানে 3/4 ইকোনমি ওয়াজ রানিং অল রাইট, এবং আমাদের কৃষি ওয়াজ পারফর্মিং ইভেন ডিউরিং দোজ 3 মান্থস। সুতরাং আমাদের যদি সবগুলো মিলিয়ে দেখতে পারবো, যদি কৃষি 2-3% দেয়, বাকিরা আরো 2-3% নিশ্চয়ই দিতে পারবে, সব মিলে 5-এর নিচে হবার কোনো কারণ নেই আমাদের ইকোনমিতে, এবং এক্স্যাক্টলি দ্যাট হ্যাজ হ্যাপেন্ড। এবং 5.4% যেটা বলেছে, আমি মনে করি যে দিস ইজ এ রিয়ালিস্টিক। যদিও আমরা অনেক অর্থনীতিবিদ, আমরা মাঠের খবর অনেক সময় নেই না নিয়ে আমরা অনেক তথ্য কিন্তু আমরা ধরতেও পারি না। এই যে 6.5 লক্ষ ফ্রিল্যান্সারের কথা বললাম যারা $13 বিলিয়ন আনছে, তাদেরকে কি আমরা আমাদের জিডিপি অ্যাকাউন্টিং এর মধ্যে আনছি? আমার মনে হয় না। যে মেয়ে উদ্যোক্তারা, তারা যে ঘরে বসে যে এইবার এর মধ্যে কোভিড এর মধ্যে কত রকমের খাবার পরিবেশন করছে, বিকিনি করছে, সেগুলো কি আমরা ধরতে পারছি? মনে হয় না। সেই জন্য আমি মনে করি যে the growth rate which has been given by the government is, I think, realistic. That's my answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ইশতিয়াক স্যার। স্যার আপনার কাছে আমাদের লাস্ট প্রশ্ন, ডিয়ার ভিউয়ার্স, আমরা যেহেতু একটু টাইম স্বল্পতায় আছি, আমরা সেজন্য লাস্ট প্রশ্ন নিচ্ছি স্যারের কাছ থেকে। মিস্টার আবুল কালাম আজাদ উনি প্রশ্ন করেছেন, স্যার আমি একজন এন্টারপ্রেনার হতে চাই, তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে স্যার আপনি একজন সাবেক গভর্নর এবং আপনি বাংলাদেশের একজন লিজেন্ড মানুষ, আমাদের ক্ষেত্রে কিছু টিপস যদি বলতেন এন্টারপ্রেনার হওয়ার ক্ষেত্রে।
এন্টারপ্রেনার হওয়ার সবচেয়ে বড় যোগ্যতা, তুমি লেগে থাকতে পারো কিনা। লেগে থাকো। শুরুতে তুমি টাকা পাবে না ব্যাংক থেকে, আমি আগেই বলে দিচ্ছি। শুরুতে তোমার নিজের টাকা যদি নাও থাকে, বাবা মার কাছ থেকে, বন্ধুদের কাছ থেকে, তুমি ছোট করে একটা কাজ শুরু করো এবং শুরু করে সেটাতে দেখাও যে তুমি পারো। যেমন এখন সিটি ব্যাংক এবং বিকাশ একটা ন্যানো ক্রেডিট বলে একটা প্রোগ্রাম নিয়েছে। তোমার 3 মাসের জন্য তারা 10,000 টাকা মাত্র দেবে। আমি যে উদাহরণ দিয়ে বলছি, এরকম জায়গাতে তুমি ঢুকে পড়ে দেখাও যে তুমি পারো, এবং তোমার পুরো ডেটা, ইনফ্যাক্ট আবারও বললাম যে আগামী দিনের পুরো উদ্যোক্তার একমাত্র কোয়ালিটি হবে যে তুমি ডেটা কতটা ম্যানেজ করতে পারছো, তোমার ডেটা কেমন। তুমি সেখান থেকে ব্যাংক তখন তোমার ডেটা দেখে তোমাকে ডেটা দেবে। সুতরাং তুমি লেগে থাকো, 1 বছর লেগে থাকো, দ্বিতীয় বছরে তুমি চেষ্টা করো। আমার মনে হয় যে লেগে থাকাটাই হলো সবচেয়ে বড় টিপস ফর বিকামিং অ্যান এন্টারপ্রেনার।
স্যার থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ, উই আর রিয়েলি গ্রেটফুল যে আপনার মতো এরকম একজন মানুষ আমরা আমাদের মাঝে পেয়েছি। সো স্যার আমরা ভবিষ্যতে ইনশাআল্লাহ আপনাকে আবারও আমাদের সাথে পেতে চাই। আমি আমাদের সবার পক্ষ থেকে আবারও অত্যন্ত কৃতজ্ঞ চিত্তের ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন করছি আপনাকে।
আমি ওই ছেলেটির উত্তরে আরেকটা বলি, ইফাত, তুমি মেঘনা গ্রুপের মুস্তফা কামালের গল্পটা পড়ো। কোথা থেকে তিনি কোথায় এসেছেন, কেমন করে আজকে এত বড় উদ্যোক্তা হয়েছেন, এটা খেয়াল করো যে ফ্রেশ তারপরে মেঘনা, তোমার অনেক রকমের কত গ্রুপ অফ ইন্ডাস্ট্রিজ আছে। কিন্তু এই মানুষটি একসময় না খেয়ে থাকতো। এই মানুষটি মানে জাহাজের সদরঘাটের লঞ্চের তোমার নিচে বিছিয়ে কাপড় বিছনা ছাড়া ঘুমাতো। সেরকম একজন মানুষ আজকে বাংলাদেশের ওয়ান অফ দ্য মোস্ট সাকসেসফুল এন্টারপ্রেনার্স হতে পেরেছে। সুতরাং লেগে থাকলে কত কিছুই না হয়। এটা আমি পাড়া গ্রাম থেকে এসেছিলাম, কিচ্ছু জানতাম না। ঢাকা শহর কোথায় জানতাম না, ময়মনসিংহ শহর কোথায় জানতাম না। আমি কোনোদিন শহরেই যাইনি। সেখান থেকে তো আমি এখানে আসতে পেরেছি। তো প্রত্যেকেই লেগে থাকলে পারবে, নিশ্চয়ই পারবে। নিজের উপরে ভরসা রাখো, নিশ্চয়ই পারবে।
থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ স্যার, আপনার মূল্যবান মন্তব্য পাশাপাশি আপনার এই প্রেজেন্টেশনের জন্য। সো আমরা চলে যেতে চাই ডিয়ার ভিউয়ার্স আমাদের নেক্সট স্পিকার ডক্টর কুনাল সাক্সেনার কাছে। সো ডিয়ার ভিউয়ার্স, a renowned quote from William Durant, which is forget past mistakes, forget failures, forget everything except what you are going to do now and do it. There is only the present, so the enlightened ones tell us, and we cannot allow ourselves to become tied to the past or by the future. There is only the here and now. We must concrete on that and act. This is quote does not reject the lessons of the past or the plans for the future, but we only have this moment, so do your best in it in presence. Dear viewers, now I am going to welcome our second speaker. He is from India. He's a digital marketing expert, data scientist for marketing analytics. He's a TEDx speaker, leadership coach, expert marketing 4.0. He's an employee of Google. He's none other than, I'm saying, Dr. Kunal Saxena. Please welcome Dr. Kunal Saxena.
Thank you,
His
Mr.
topic
Yusuf.
is artificial intelligence in business. Yes, Dr. Kunal Saxena, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Futures Academy and the moderator for the day. আপনাকে সবাইকে আসসালামু আলাইকুম। I'm not that good in Bangla, but yeah, I was not sure that today's session will be primarily in the Bengali language, but I have something which I will share with you what we do in our part of the world, and we are making it as a simplistic effort for everybody taking care of this service or taking help with this service. I was listening to Dr. Rahman very carefully, and I was going through what developments have happened in Bangladesh. And I have closely witnessed the country of Bangladesh. I have traveled all across Bangladesh because my job is to map different countries. And if you might have heard about Google Maps, I head the Asia Pacific division for Google Maps, and whosoever is using Google Maps in this Asian region is me and my team handling it. So I have witnessed quite a lot of Bangladesh geographically. I'm pretty, convinced and very happy to be associated and traveled across such a wonderful country. Little bit of history I've searched about Bangladesh as well, and I was quite fascinated with what has happened and where are you right now and what kind of developments have happened. So, Dr. Rahman, I have read about you a lot. You have contributed a lot as a governor to this country. Congratulations to you for doing a wonderful task, making the country so proud and bringing in so much of developments that today even a beggar can do banking. I used to tell people B2B stands for business to business, but today I can tell people B2B stands for beggar to banking. And that is what I think your country has witnessed in this time, what has gone through. So, today what I would be doing is I would be, taking you through a different horizon of artificial intelligence and how it has been, contributing to business. Because we as a company, we help companies to grow. We don't know who take our help. We don't know how they're taking our help. We don't know what they do with our resources and how they utilize our resources. But we keep ourselves open as a platform to help any and everybody. from any part of the world. So when it comes to artificial intelligence, when it comes to digital marketing, when it comes to maps, or when it comes to searching something online, we are there. And I know maximum people log on to this website called google.com. And let me tell you a figure which nobody would even imagine, that we get 250 billion clicks per microsecond of search across the planet. So you can understand 250 billion clicks per microsecond is a kind of a data we deal with, is a kind of infrastructure we hold, and we make sure that people who are associated or trying to take help with this platform get benefit. So, I have a small presentation which I'm going to share with you guys. Just, confirm me once you can see the screen. If it is visible to you, just let me know. So I hope the screen is visible to you. Can anybody confirm me, please?
Yeah, we can see that.
Yes, it is visible.
All right. Thank you very much for your response. That means all of you are alive and watching me. So thank you for your response. So today, I'm going to take you through a different journey. I'm going to talk about things which not a normal man in his normal daily routine of life would talk about. So I'm talking about artificial intelligence. You people might have heard about it. You might have seen a glimpse of it. But this is what I do in every day of my life. And I am trying to make things simpler. Of course, I means me and my company. We are trying to make it simpler for the human race, for the mankind to get the maximum advantages out of it. And it is definitely contributing to the field of business in today's time. So if you have an idea in mind, if you have a concept in mind, you want to start something new, or at the same time, you have something which is existing, you can take a help. You can take a dip in this ocean. You can feel the water taste, and then you can come out and tell your experience how it has been. So, in terms of artificial intelligence, we are not talking about anything in the air. I'll be giving you, completely consolidated information of what is happening all across the world, how people are taking advantages out of it, how people are making businesses out of it. আর যদি বাংলায় যদি বলি যে মানে একটা ছোট থেকে ছোট বিজনেসম্যানও কিভাবে এটা থেকে অ্যাডভান্টেজ নিতে পারে, I will be, very much happy to explain you guys. So in terms of artificial intelligence, when you talk about artificial intelligence, people used to get these images in their mind, which is fiction, which is movies, especially Hollywood, or artificial science, or something which is not that achievable. But let me tell you, what you see on the screen is just 1% of the artificial intelligence what human race has employed. Because this is where it started, this is how it started, and this is how the humankind came to know that there is a new science called artificial intelligence which can be employed onto business. But how it came into business is like this. Your phone, which can talk to you if you give a command on your phone and say that I want this help, is artificial intelligence. We have devices in our home, in India or in specific Western world, we have a device called Amazon Alexa or a Google Assistant. You give a command, they'll respond back to you. That is there. We have AI introduced into the automobiles in today's time, something like Tesla or something like any Korean or any, Taiwanese or any Chinese or any, German or French company. Everybody is going into this field. We have AI on your camera, which can detect your face, which can ask, or we can give you a tag who you are and where you have been. Also, AI is implemented in terms of translation of businesses, translation of words, translation of alphabets, and things are going in a very simpler manner. So you just have a word, type it, get the answer, and boom, you're done. Then AI is also implemented in the company where I work. That's why I brought the small screen for you. You put a word, there is an algorithm running behind, which gives you a kind of a, zeroed in search, and you get that result on your screen. So coming from a fiction story to reality is what AI has done. Now coming to the part of business. Apple as a company took advantage. Amazon as a company took advantage. Tesla as a company is taking advantage. Mobile companies who are putting AI into their cameras is taking advantage. Google as a company is not taking any advantage, but yes, helping companies take advantage. We don't charge you a dime, we don't charge you a bit, but we help you people grow. And what happens in terms of artificial intelligence is we are giving the capacity of a computer to perform operations in an analogous to learning and decision making in humans. So now the story is going reverse. The machine is not dependent on man. The man is dependent on machine. And that is how business is running today. I'll take a very simple example. Dr. Rahman was talking about the banking field. He just spoke about how banking has gone through. Now, in terms of banking, what artificial intelligence is doing right now is we are making codes. We're giving you OTPs. We are making it system generated. We are making sure that at a click of a button, things are happening the way it has to be. Banks are a place where billions of dollars and thousands of takas is kept. People's money, it has to be kept secured. It has to rotate across in such a fashion where people should get the exact debit is equal to exact credit. Who's doing it? If you talk about a software which is managing it, it is managing with the help of AI. If you're talking about a mobile device with the help of which you can log into your mobile banking, or in your country, we have something called as bKash. How that is being maintained at the back end is also a glimpse of artificial intelligence. Now, in terms of AI, now why businesses are becoming dependent on AI and how AI is being used by business? We have data, and that data is to be passed in a very, very positive sense. You can't play with data. And also one more thing, if you have any doubts, after I change a slide, please put your question in your chat box so that after every slide, if you have a question, I would be able to answer at the end. So what we have is we have data. Now how do you park that data? Is that data useful? Is that data of some sense, or is that data not required? Who's going to decide it? Human eyes cannot do it. Millions of data across the Excel sheet or in Word pages or in PPT or the way you want to keep it, how do you decode it? How do you make sure that it is reliable data? Simple example, a lot of countries, a lot of mobile phones, a lot of mobile phone connections, a lot of customers. The same mobile number is sold to multiple companies, say mutual funds, say credit cards, say hospitals, say any investment firm, and they keep on calling you. Who's making money out of this data? Is the company which gave you connection. How AI is soliciting it? We need to understand which kind of data is much more money worth for us, which kind of data is not at all worth for us, and how, with the help of the computer power, I decode it to my easy retrieval. Again, I'll take the example. You have something called as Google Translate. In terms of business, now say I don't understand Bengali. Just take an example. I go to Bangladesh. If somebody tells me something, if somebody is asking me something, or if I have to say something, how do I decode in today's time? I don't have to ask anybody. I'll open my phone. I'll just type it over there. What is the conversation for hello in Bengali? It will say namaskar. And I'll get my answer in English, the language I wanted, and I'll communicate with. That's a business. And how you make money out of businesses? You have a problem. I have a solution. I give it to you. I make money. Going a little forward in the story of artificial intelligence. Now, nobody, no book, no scientist, no data scientist, no company is going to tell you what I'm going to share with you here today is artificial intelligence has three wings. One, it has got narrow intelligence. Second, it has got general intelligence. And third, it has got super intelligence. Now, in terms of understanding, the general intelligence and super intelligence is still work in progress because these are not required for normal people and small businesses, which is to run in our normal life cycle. General intelligence and super intelligence are countries, army taking it, countries, supercomputers taking it, or even NASA kind of an organization taking it, but we do support that. But what you need to understand in business is artificial narrow intelligence. Now, in terms of artificial, I'm going a little technical, but I will explain you in a very simple sense. We're talking about data. We're talking about people's records. How do you make it useful? We need to run something at the background. You're using a normal Microsoft Word. You're using a normal Microsoft, PPT presentation, PowerPoint software. What is opening it for you? Who is saving it for you? Is again a programmed software running on artificial intelligence in today's time. Because if you forget to save something, once you switch it on again, it will be retrieved till some extent for you. Who's doing it? It has been programmed. And this is how companies are taking advantages. It's not that I'm giving you a solution, but your problem as a solution I have created and I'm making money out of it. Today, startups all across the world, what they're doing is they're taking outsourced business from companies. They're making sure that there is some amount of breather given back to the company in saying that, yes, we are the one who you are looking for. Companies like Intel, companies like Apple, companies like Microsoft, they breathe on AI. They breathe on machine learning because this is the new normal and this is the future for tomorrow. And if you don't do like this, if you don't have the machine languages, if you don't have, I'm not talking about traditional programming. I'm not talking about how coding used to be done. No, that is all gone away. I'm talking about how you make those complex things pass through a magical tunnel, and that tunnel is called artificial intelligence for business, which me and you don't know, but it is translated inside that tunnel and given back to the human being or the customer in a form of a solution, which we understand and make our skill. And that skill is in terms of image recognition. That skill is in terms of text classification. Now, in terms of, image recognition and text classification, those are completely technical. But what I would like to tell you in a normal sense is a business runs on a philosophy like this, where I trace your image, I trace your text, I do an analysis out of it, and I make sure that this is what my customer wants. If you are using the Android phones of today's generation, please download one app which is called Google Lens, GOOGLELENS, Lens. It is something like a camera. You place it on a picture or a person or a text, click a photo, it'll do some kind of processing and give you exact information about that person, place, or thing. And this is how businesses have evolved. This is how people have evolved. This is how technology has evolved. And with the help of this, we have related everything: your email, your WhatsApp, your details, your everything. In terms of technology, we are trying to make sure that when you want to start a new business, what you want data. It's available. What you want to know about your competitors, it's there. What you want to know next, you want to know in which season this kind of product can click in the market, pick in the market, and make sure that you start earning something. Dr. Rahman was saying one thing, that if you start a business, 𝗥𝗵𝗺 জন্য লেগে থাকো. And that is a thing we need to understand. 𝗥𝗵𝗺 জন্য লেগে থাকো means it's not that you put your money and you're waiting it for ripen. It's the time for you to progress in your business, research in your business, and find out how others are doing it. And after 1 year, when this infant becomes a 1-year kid, it has to start developing in terms of growing. And then it starts walking, and then it starts running. I hope I am being, justifiable, Dr. Rahman, in this. So this is how artificial intelligence is contributing in business by understanding the customer's behavioral theories, by understanding the marketing theories, by understanding the facts and figures which is related to the customer aesthetic. Unless and until you don't know the customer aesthetics, you cannot survive. আমি জানতে চাই আমার আগামী দিনের জন্য কাস্টমার কি চায়। আমি জানতে চাই আমার গত কালকে যে কাস্টমার ছিল ও কি চাচ্ছিল। আমি জানতে চাই আজকে কাস্টমারকে আমি কিভাবে ধরে রাখতে পারি। আমি জানতে চাই যে আজকে থেকে 5 বছরের মধ্যে আমার ইকোনমি যেটা যেভাবে যাচ্ছে, আমার ভ্যালু অফ মানি কিভাবে থাকবে। The gold price, the silver price, all these are contributing factors to business, and these data are recorded in artificial intelligence, because unless and until you don't get it record, you cannot succeed. Going further, in terms of artificial intelligence for business, I'm giving you again a small anecdote. Have a word, put it on the screen, search it. What you get is the result of artificial intelligence. Today, companies are relating themselves with one word. Companies are trying to put that one word in their website, in their paragraphs, in their story, history about us, whatever you call. Reason being, there is an artificial intelligence algorithm which is running behind, and it will make sure that this word gets picked up and your data gets pulled up. Very simple, Futures Academy. Now, if I write Futures Academy on Google, there might be thousands of Futures Academy in this world. I will get the data of all. But if I say Futures Academy Dhaka, Bangladesh, boom, I got it what I wanted. I would see the people behind it. I would see this organization. I would see how old it is, how new it is, and what business this organization has for its clients. So this is how artificial intelligence work, contributing to the field of business and helping business succeed. Now I'll give you a small understanding about one more new term, which is called machine learning. But this is something much more technical, but how it has contributed, we'll talk about that first. So in terms of artificial intelligence, again, taking example, Futures Academy, on the screen, you see what this company deals with. Suppose this company deals with politics, this company deals with technology, this company deals with sports. How do I know which information I want? Artificial intelligence will help me to figure out. Now, how you as a user can take advantage of it, you know? Now, I will give you an example. When I was bringing Google Maps to India, that was about 9 years back from now, 9 to 10 years back from now. My fellow mates, my teammates, and my seniors were saying that this product or this process will not work in this country because people are not literate and to the technological level, and we will not have that IT infrastructure to run this kind of a project. But I did some analysis and I thought that if a country like Israel and if a country like Greece can keep it on their head and walk it on this town, why can't we? And then we did small kind of regression analysis, some kind of classification. We tried in our programming languages and got the data of customer, whether we should put this business in this country. Will the people enjoy this? When we started the business growing, then we implemented in countries like Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar. And it is now on a progressional front. I don't say this is the best. I don't say this is the worst, but I know it is on a progressional front. I contributed this technology as a business with the help of artificial intelligence. And slowly what happened is I got the results. We have got 250 billion clicks per microsecond coming as a search. And this is how things happen. This is how businesses grow. Within 10 years, what you see the development is an Herculean task. But yes, we followed these processes, these procedures, and make sure that businesses take help. Today, you can send your Google Map location to anybody from any place sitting in any part of the world. People can be tracked. Your phone can be tracked. Your email can be retrieved. How? With the help of artificial intelligence. Also, we have some, I'm showing you these figures, though I'm not supposed, but will be very happy to share this with you. What happens is we do some kind of classification, what kind of customers are looking for which kind of area, what business they want to grow, which industries they want to enter. Say today, everybody is going digital. The blue dots, what you see are the people who are interested with digital technologies to have their business run online. I can sell shoe online, I can sell pin online, I can sell a plane online. I will share an experience of mine with you people. I was giving a lecture in Harvard once, and a student just asked me a question. He was from Indonesia. He said, "Sir, I just Googled a shoe, and that shoe started following me on the social media." That was a throwback question on me. I said, "What do you mean by this question? Why you're asking me this?" He says, "I don't have any privacy. The shoe is following me. Wherever I go, they give me an ad. Your shoe is in your cart. Please purchase it." This is something we need to understand. And this is how technologies are growing. This is how business is flourishing. And you are asking the business to follow you. The business is not following you. Why? Because you gave them your coordinates, and this is how it happens. So in terms of business, in terms of artificial intelligence, in terms of understanding the nomenclature of these prodigies, we have worked a lot. And companies, if you see these companies like Tesla, Amazon, Fuzzy, Monkey Learn, you can Google this, you can find out. These are the companies which are taking advantage as a business of artificial intelligence and running themselves. Even government of specific countries are asking us help, and we are doing them, because unless and until you don't follow some kind of gateways or pass through them, you will not get the proper flow of data or information, or in some cases money as well, which has been taken care of. So latest example of artificial intelligence, you can see it in your vehicles, especially all these Korean and Japanese made vehicles. You have artificial intelligence. They can park themselves, start themselves. They have remote button. You can control them like a remote car of your child. And things are happening on a different. In fact, in US, we have self-driving cars with Uber, and it was a successful pilot project which has started going on. So businesses on artificial intelligence with less human interventions are going very high. People are taking too much advantage of it, and they're pretty happy with it. Today's technology, if you see your grandchild using a mobile phone, using a smart TV or an iPad or a laptop, is all gift of artificial intelligence and technology to us. This is how technology has simplified itself, what you see on the screen, and this is how businesses are growing and building themselves. So this is all from my side, because it's too technical. I don't want to bore you people. What I had in mind, I shared my piece of thought with you guys. If you have any questions, you people can ask me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kunal Saxena. This is a very insightful presentation ever I have seen on artificial intelligence. I was simply stuck on this presentation. And yes, you mentioned the Google Lens. It's a powerful app. Nowadays, when we go anywhere on that time, if we just click on Google Lens, on that time I found lots of things like a dress or any other images or anything I can found. So this is a really, really good presentation from you. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is for question and answer session. So if you have any question regarding artificial intelligence or digital analytics or any kind of digital transformation, freely you can ask to our honorable resource person, to Dr. Kunal Saxena.
I have a question for Dr.
Thank you.
Saxena.
Thank you.
And I think it will relate to Dr. Rahman as well. Now, Dr. Rahman spoke about e-government and digital transformation in Bangladesh, and Dr. Saxena is talking about AI and how is that gonna transform the way we're gonna live. So my worry is that what's gonna happen to us as a human? I mean, are we gonna be distinct? Nobody will use us, or like for me as a trainer with the AI, maybe you'll have a holographic somebody, or like Udemy or like other platforms.
Coursera,
so,
right?
Yeah, Coursera. Yeah. So your input on this, please.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I know, I really appreciate it. In fact, I'll just tell you a recent happening very similar to what he has asked. We are working on a project very similar to Google Lens. This is not for any and everybody to get the advantage, but it is for the forensic department, or it is for the legal authorities to take advantage of this. It is something similar to the Lens. We find what has happened is because of this pandemic, and somehow if there is a mishap on the road and we cannot identify the person, whosoever has been hurt or is not in a position to talk back or something like that, God forbid, I pray to God it should not happen with anybody. But if somebody falls in this kind of a trap, we're trying to come up with a kind of a app or a kind of a user aligned software system wherein you can just scan the face and get the details of the person, who that person is, the address, the name, or the latest phone number which has been associated with his database. We're trying to come up with something like that which helps the mankind. Now, it doesn't mean that we are going to get extinct, or we are going to get replaced by machines. But yeah, one thing is what is happening is, and I do agree with this, and of course I am a contributing factor to this thing, which is slightly on the other hand, we will become much more lazier, because machine will perform our task, machines will do our job, especially these software systems will do it. But at the same time, the productivity will be faster, the results will be sooner, and what will happen is you would be able to see something at a better and a broader perspective. Now, it is human being how we have to tune ourselves, how we have to make ourselves much more acquainted with this. But what will happen with this is that we'll get a better solution. যদি বাংলায় বলি, আমরা একটা প্যাকেজ তৈরি করছি যেখানে সাপোজ করেন রাস্তার উপরে যদি কোনো অ্যাক্সিডেন্ট হয়ে থাকে বা অন্য কিছু হয়ে থাকে যেটা মানে অঘটিত ঘটনা হয়ে থাকে, তো ওখানে যদি যেই লোকটা এফেক্টেড হয়েছে উনি যদি না কথা বলতে পারেন, হি ইজ নট ইন আ পজিশন টু রেসপন্ড, এই অ্যাপটা যদি ইউ পুট দ্য ক্যামেরা অন হিজ ফেস এন্ড এটা স্ক্যান করতে থাকবে, ইউ উইল গেট দ্য ডিটেলস অ্যাবাউট দ্যাট পারসন, ফ্রম ওয়্যার হি হ্যাজ কাম, হোয়াট হি ইজ, এন্ড ইউ ক্যান ইনফর্ম দি কনসার্নড অথরিটিজ। তো এটা আমরা এখন তৈরি করছি। অ্যান্ড ইন টার্মস অফ গুগল ম্যাপ, আমাদের লেটেস্ট ডেভেলপমেন্ট হচ্ছে যে আপনি যদি কোনো নতুন জায়গায় যেতে চান, ওখানে আপনি কোনোদিন আগে যান নেই, আর আপনার কাছে ওখানকার কোনো ইনফরমেশন নাই, আপনি ওই জায়গাটার যদি ইনফরমেশন আপনার গুগল ম্যাপস অ্যাপের মধ্যে পাঞ্চ করবেন, ওই জায়গাটার বিল্ডিং এর ফটো, ওই লেনটার কিভাবে যেতে হয়, ওখানে কোন কোনটা শপ আছে, কোন কোনটা এটিএম আছে, কোন কোনটা রেস্টুরেন্ট আছে, সবকিছু ইনফরমেশন আপনি ফার্স্ট হ্যান্ডে জেনে যান। So we are trying to come up with human allied solutions. We are trying to make it much better. And we are trying to put this on the digital marketing platform as well, because আজকের যুগে সবাই অনলাইন প্ল্যাটফর্মে বসে আছে, ফেসবুক হোক বা লিঙ্কডইন হোক বা ইনস্টাগ্রাম হোক, এটাই হোক, ওখানে সবার মানে অনলাইন ট্রাফিক অনেক হয়ে গেছে ওইদিকে। আর মানুষ নতুন মেসেজ ছেড়ে হোয়াটসঅ্যাপের দিকে বেশি ডিপেন্ড হয়ে গেছে। তো আমরা এইসবের অ্যাডভান্টেজটা নিয়ে একটা নতুন প্যাকেজ তৈরি করছি, and we'll come out with a very soon. I hope my Bangla is good.
Yeah, thank you very much. Already one participant said this, said that your Bangla is so good. Mr. 𝗕𝗵𝗴𝗋 already write in chat box.
I have a very bad habit of learning languages, sir.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Kunal Saxena, I have a question from Facebook live session. Mr. 𝗕𝗺𝗃𝗵𝗺. He asked that is not it costly enough for other than giant companies?
When it comes to cost, what happens is we divide the cost into the number of users, and once the user base goes into millions, automatically the cost comes down into some 𝗕𝗚𝗃, which company is able to afford. So I went to, I have traveled Bangladesh, so I was traveling from a place called 𝗥𝗵𝗺, which is the border of India, district Brahmanbaria. Then I went to by train. I came to Dhaka, and then when I went to Chittagong, then St. Martin's, Cox's Bazar, then Mymensingh, then Borishal, then all these places, Tangai. So what we were doing was we were trying to take out the cost of implementing this solution by how many people are going to use it. আমি আশা করছি যে almost complete Bangladesh is dependent on the Google system of getting the resources and searching things. So if the number of users divided by the total cost comes out, it is even cheaper than buying a matchbox. And we don't even bother about charging that cost. So it is not that expensive. It will be very cheap. Only thing is, if you take it through a mobile platform, you have to pay to the mobile device, otherwise nothing.
Oh, thank you very much.
আমার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল, can I ask?
Yeah, please.
আমার কোশ্চেনটা ছিল, সেটা হচ্ছে যে মানে আর্টিফিশিয়াল ইন্টেলিজেন্স যেভাবে বৃদ্ধি পাচ্ছে, এতে কি আসলে মানুষের অস্তিত্বটা সংকটে পড়ে যাবে কিনা?
না, একদমই সংকটে পড়বেন না আপনি।
যেমন মনে করেন আপনি যদি আর্টিফিশিয়াল ইন্টেলিজেন্স সব কাজ করে দেয়, তাহলে তো আনএমপ্লয়মেন্ট অনেক বেড়ে যাবে এবং ক্যাপিটালিজম যেটা সেটা আরো বেশি বেড়ে যাবে, পুঁজিবাদী অর্থনীতিটাকে আরো ইনক্রিজ করে ফেলবে। সেক্ষেত্রে
okay, now this is I won't blame you, sir, for this. আমি এটা বলি না যে আপনি এটা ব্যাপারে জানেন না, এটা ম্যাক্সিমাম লোকজনের এই ব্যাপারে কিছু জানে না। কারণ হচ্ছে ডেটা যেটা হয় ওটা মানুষেরই হয়, আর এই প্রসেসিংটা স্টার্ট মানুষই করে। সিস্টেম ডাজন্ট নো ওয়্যার টু স্টার্ট অ্যান্ড ওয়্যার টু এন্ড। সিস্টেম হচ্ছে একটা মিক্সারের মতন জিনিস, আপনি যত ঘোরাবেন এটা ঘুরতেই থাকবে, কিন্তু কোথায় এই সিস্টেমটাকে স্টপ করতে হবে এটা ইটস ডিপেন্ডেন্ট অন দ্য ইউজার। তো কারণ হচ্ছে যে সে সাপোজ আমার একটা নতুন প্রজেক্ট আছে, and I am going to go to Bangladesh very soon for that. Now এখন এই প্রজেক্টটা হচ্ছে how you make a single system of Google যেখানে আপনার ইমেল, আপনার হ্যাংআউট, আপনার সে সাপোজ আপনার 10টা ইমেল অ্যাকাউন্ট আছে, এই 10টা ইমেল একটাই অ্যাকাউন্টে চলে যাবে, আপনার লেন্স, আপনার হ্যাংআউট আর আপনার গুগল প্লাস যদি আপনি ইউজ করেন, এটা সব একটাই সফটওয়্যার দিয়ে আপনি চালাতে পারবেন। কিন্তু ওটা চালানোর জন্য উই নিড আ ইউজার, ওটার রিসোর্স এনজয়মেন্টের জন্য উই নিড আ ইউজার, অ্যান্ড অ্যাট দ্য ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড আমাদের টেকনোলজিক্যাল ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড থেকে যারা আছে, মানে যে স্টুডেন্ট গুলা টেকনোলজি বা সফটওয়্যার নিয়ে পড়াশোনা করেছে, ওটার ডিমান্ড আরো বেড়ে গেছে। সো অফ হ্যান্ড physical work has gone down, but on hand the virtual task at the background has increased. কারণ হচ্ছে যে আপনার এখানে যদি মনে করেন আমাদের ইন্ডিয়াতে 130 কোটি মানুষ আছে, এই 130 কোটি মানুষের ডেটাবেস আমরা যদি মেনটেন করতে চাই, আমাদের আরো 130 কোটি মানুষ লাগবে, কারণ হচ্ছে একটার পিছনে একটাকে রাখতেই হবে। A man needs a man to handle the data, unless otherwise the data will go rotten. It's a very on saying in my company, and we do it profound. So মানুষের অস্তিত্ব থাকবে, জবগুলো থাকবে, আরো জব বেড়ে থাকবে, কিন্তু এই টেকনোলজিক্যাল সেক্টরের দিকে জবটা ইনক্রিজ হয়ে যাবে। ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং টেকনোলজিক্যাল দিকে চলে গেছে, কনসাল্টিং টেকনোলজিক্যাল প্ল্যাটফর্মের দিকে চলে গেছে, টিচিংটা টেকনোলজিক্যাল প্ল্যাটফর্মের দিকে চলে গেছে। তো আপনার এই নতুন সাইডের ইনফরমেশন এখন জানা উচিত। এটা পাওয়ার পরে ইউ উইল বি দ্য সুপার মাইন্ড বিহাইন্ড এভরিথিং, এন্ড সফটওয়্যার ইজ দেয়ার টু হেল্প ইউ। You are not there to help the software.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kunal Saxena.
Ji.
Ziaur Rahman sir, actually we
Yeah.
have a time limit. So
Acha, we
it's a last-
can.
Okay, it's the last question
Ji.
from you.
Okay. Thank you,
Ziaur
Dr.
Rahman.
Saxena. Yeah, thank you. Thank
Bolun,
you
sir.
to give me the chance.
Bolun, sir.
Actually, I am from a pharmaceutical company. I'm head of marketing of Delta Pharma. After your presentation, I had a question in my mind, and that is there any chance of using artificial intelligence in pharmaceutical technology? I think I mean the discovery of new drugs. Or do you know do you have any company are using in the discovery of new drugs? They are using artificial technology? Is there any chance?
Yes. I cannot name the company, sir, because we have a kind of a agreement with them. But I can tell you how they have implemented this side of using AI. Now, আপনার যে chemical এর একটা periodic table হয়, and এই periodic table এর মধ্যে each chemical has a different weightage. Now, when you're trying to start manufacturing a new drug, what happens is the kind of mg you're going to involve, the kind of subsolitude substitutes, what I was told is to be involved, that how much of would be hydrochloroquine in it, how much would be hydroperoxide in it, how much will be potassium in it, how much will be calcium content in it. The there is a new system which has come up. You just feed it into the system. The artificial intelligence software will come up with its own pre-programmed system behind, in terms of telling you how many mgs of which particular chemical has been involved in which particular medicine, and it can be used for which particular treatment approximately. It's not a system which has become a doctor, but this system assists the doctors. And at the same time, if you're talking about an ointment, if you're talking about a cream, the composition of the percentage inside that cream has also been implemented in this, because for infant it is at a different level, for adult it's a different level, for different skin types it's a different level. So আগে কি হইতো যে যদি কোনো ছোট বাচ্চা হয়, পিচ্চি বাচ্চা হয়, ওদের জন্য we used to say এই ট্যাবলেটটাকে ভেঙে দিতে পারবে, কিন্তু এখন ওই সবটা চলে গেছে. Now, as per the age limit, as per the body weight size, as per the blood group in some cases, and as per the previous ailments of that person, you can prescribe a drug looking into the composition of it, how it has been manufactured, and also the manufacturing components are running on AI for making it much more simpler and finer, so that the chances of side effects goes down.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saxena. Mr. Ziaur Rahman sir, I want to say that Mr. Saxena currently is working as an external consultant of a renowned pharmaceuticals company in Bangalore. So
I see.
he knows lots of things about pharmaceuticals. Because you know very well that, right. I also a background from pharmaceuticals company in Bangladesh. More than 15 years I was working in Opsonin Pharma Limited as a sales professional. So thank you very much, Dr. Kunal Saxena. Really, we are very, very grateful to you for your insightful presentation on artificial intelligence.
Thank you
Ladies
very
and
much.
gentlemen.
আপনাকে সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি. জয় বাংলা, জয় বঙ্গবন্ধু.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kunal Saxena. Yes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, there are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. It's a great quote from Colin Powell. You know, inspiration is great, but there is no point of reinventing the wheel. The general is right. Success is being prepared, working hard, and learning from mistakes. As many others have also stated, if we can edit the quote of we beat, we had luck to fill out the recipe for success. There is always an unknown element in the mix. Yes, the time is for importance of communication. She's a lady who is called Wonder Woman. She's a lady from Switzerland. She's a lady, is a top 50 contributory person in LinkedIn. Recently, she got an international award. She's the founder, Ray Academy of Swiss, influencer, TEDx speaker, human resource specialist, vice president, global goodwill ambassador, chairperson, All Ladies League Women Economic Forum, keynote speaker and expert trainer. She is none other than 𝗕Ruby-𝗵𝗂𝗍 from Switzerland. Please welcome Dr. 𝗕Ruby-𝗵𝗂𝗍. The topic is importance of communication in business. Thank you.
Namaskar, everyone. Namaskar, Bangladesh. Today, it's like the Bangla is in the air. Thank you so much, Mr. Yusuf, for such an amazing introduction. I'm really, really floored. And I thoroughly enjoyed listening to Mr. Rahman, starting in Bangla, even though I couldn't understand, but the way you were speaking, since I'm from the field of communication, the way you were speaking, we were all there with you. Very, very impressive, sir. Very, very impressive. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And then from Bangla, it moved to artificial intelligence, where Dr. Kunal just floored us by his artificial intelligence skills. And I was like, oh my God, this is turning so technical that we are moving from the real world to the virtual world of what to expect and what is going to happen in the future. Amazing, amazing. So my presentation is going to be talking about why do we communicate, how we can become better communicators. So it's something that we all do every day, just as we are always having this time limits, how much to speak, how much to say, and when to just shut up. That's very important, because if you speak too much, it loses its importance. If you speak little, as they say, silence is golden. So sometimes when you speak little, it makes a very strong impact. And people are like, wow, what a way. What did he or she mention? And it remains with you. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of the nuggets, what to say, what not to say, and how you can make any kind of information stay in the minds of the people for long duration of time. So if you allow me, I'm just going to share my screen, Mr. Yusuf.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Yes. All right. All right. So as you see, we are going to be talking about communication in business. And it's also something that we can relate to day-to-day life. So it's not just for the people who are in business. It's for people in corporate, people in pharmaceuticals, people staying at home, for housewives, for anyone and everyone, how you can really understand the C of communication. I'm going to be focusing on C, because sometimes, we talk a lot and we don't pay attention on the minute details, which everyone needs to pay attention from time to time. So starting with the communication, which is why do we need to communicate and how do we communicate? So for any kind of communication, like right now, what I'm doing is I'm doing a solo talk. But by seeing you people saying yes or no, or your excitement, I'm seeing all of you on the small screen, I can see that we are having a communication which is double-sided. Because for any communication to be impactful, it is important that people have to have a two-way flow, just as you see in this diagram here. I'm the sender and you are the receiver, the R. So if this was not present, like if we were in face-to-face actual communication, I'm sure we would be having more interaction. But because it's virtual, we try to make the best. And towards the end, we have this Q&A, where we always see how is it going and what are the things people need to pay attention to. So if you see what exactly is communication, it is any form of exchange of information or ideas, which starts with anything that you find useful, you find something that gives value, you pay more attention. Like when he was talking, some people said, I'm from the pharmaceutical industry. So people were paying more attention. Then he said, you can use this in banking industry. So people from that particular industry started paying more attention. So normally when you give value or when you give something which is important to the people, automatically people start paying double attention, because they feel somewhere or the other, I will find my thing or my value or my small piece of information which can be beneficial in the long run. So it's very important for each one of us to understand when we move from C of communication, not just to business communication, but any form of communication, which we are doing right now. With the pandemic, we were forced to take certain decisions which we were not prepared in the past. I mean, COVID made us dance. practically the whole world dance. Even though it was, confusing, scary, people were not knowing what to do, what to expect, but still the world kept on going. Don't you all agree with me? Like, you're sitting in the homes doing your tasks, but still you were looking forward to something new. I hope this goes away. I hope there's a new ray of life or new ray of hope that soon it's gonna go away. So my first thing, which I want from all of you is, what is the first, like a small exercise, just which I want you all to do is using the chat window. I want you to tell me what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you are talking to a person. Like right now, we were all here. We just knew who are the speakers, nothing else. But what are your expectations? What was the first thing? I should attend this webinar because why? What is the first word that comes to your mind? Just write. Just use the chat window to write so that I can see what exactly are your expectations and what you want, what is going on in the mind.
থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। সবাই একটা প্রশ্নের আনসার দিতে পারেন চ্যাট বক্সের মাধ্যমে। আপনি কেন এই প্রোগ্রামটাতে আজকে জয়েন করেছেন, আপনার মাইন্ডে কি এসেছে, সেই প্রশ্নটাই করেছেন আমাদের আজকের রিসোর্স পারসন ডক্টর রুবি বক্সী। আপনারা চ্যাট বক্সে লিখতে পারেন কেন আপনি জয়েন করেছেন, কোন প্রশ্নটা আসতেছে আপনার মাথায়। প্লিজ রাইট ইউর আনসার।
I'll just quickly see. New things, leadership, okay, yes. No new things, yes, that's why we are all here, because we want to learn. We just don't want to be sitting and not knowing anything. Yes, something else that comes to your mind? Anyone? Maybe someone can write in Bangla and then Mr. Yusuf can explain what is it, because I may not understand what they are writing.
Of course, I will.
To gather some knowledge, gain knowledge from the learned speakers. Exactly. So knowledge is know something different. Yeah. So this is something that everyone wants to learn. You're all passionate. You're all wanting to learn something, listen something new, which you are not knowing. Very true. So communication is something which makes you go and understand the passion. Like you all are here thinking where I can get more information from, what can be more interactive or what can be more beneficial for me. Exactly. So now I'm going to share with you the C's of communication, which is very important when you understand why are we communicating? What is the reason for communicating? And in here, if you see the very first one that says here is the complete. Whatever information, whatever talk we are doing right now, we are looking how we can have or understand the full meaning of that particular information or that particular new thing. Maybe there were certain things which we did not know, but there were certain things which we knew, but we didn't have the complete information. So when we start paying attention on the complete information, that makes us more aware and much more aware of, oh, it's that, the confusions are gone. Then moving on from completeness, we see the concreteness. Why is it important for me? Is it really important, or I can do without it? Or I need to find something which can be more beneficial, because that's something which we always have to pay attention. How concrete is the information that we are getting, or how concrete is the information that we are gathering from other people? Throughout, when you're talking, you have to be courteous. Like when we started, we said namaskar or how are you, bandhu? Like you have to show that you are courteous towards the people. You have to show that you value the people, right? Because if you give value, if you show respect, you get respect. So be it written communication, be it verbal communication, be it any form, or right now we are having virtual communication through webinar. Any kind of communication, we always show through, these emojis. Bravo. So everyone, instead of clapping or doing this, we don't want to disturb the speakers. So we just show via our emojis, right? Even technology is aware how we can be courteous, how we can show respect. After being courteous, after giving respect to the people, is how correct you are. These days, Google is there for everything. When I say somebody's name, or whenever we say a concept which we are not aware of, instantly we would like to see Google particular information about the person. It's very common these days when we go for lectures or when we go for webinars, we always like to have complete information about the speakers. So we Google them. So same way, whatever you speak, make sure it is correct, it is valid. Because when you're talking something sensitive, it's better not to give all the details, because it may not be nice for the organization, or it could be a little bit sensitive for the companies. So make sure whatever information you are giving correct details, and making clear with the people that I can only share this much. Like, you have to be courteous at the same time, and also show that you're giving complete information. So see, these two C's, they go together: clarity as well as correctness. Then you have to be considerate, just as it says here clearly, give consideration, and it has to be concise. So basically, these are all different forms of C's that you see on the screen. Each C has a specific role to play. Each C is something that makes you feel comfortable. Each C is something that makes you feel complete in itself. And it's very important from time to time, attention on how much to give and how much to keep back. Because if you're having Q&A, and there's nothing as a surprise, or there's nothing as a suspense, you have opened all your cards, just as if you're in a casino or if you're playing cards. So then it loses its importance. So that's why the communication should be complete, that both the parties are understanding, and at the same time, it is making sense. It is going clearly towards the other person, and that's why it is completely concrete in itself. So when we say concrete, make sure, especially in today's world, when we are living in a virtual world, there could be some information which is not backed by solid, I would say, facts and figures. People may lose attention. People may not appreciate it. So make sure what you're speaking, how you're speaking, it has some credibility. Be very, very sure. It should have credibility, and it's only possible if it is concrete, valid, giving proof, giving some examples, or giving some dates that people can relate instantly. Then, as I already said, you have to be courteous throughout. Never ever think you are in a country where courtesy doesn't count. Coming from India, or coming from Bangladesh, or coming from certain countries where this has a very strong significance, make sure you keep on repeating the task, you keep on repeating the words, which gives audience an attention, or which gives audience a feeling that they are being valued. So if you're in a business meeting, and you start, ladies and gentlemen, okay, and they're just one gentleman and many ladies, or they're just two ladies and many gentlemen, still you have to use the salutation in a very specific way. Don't think that they are lesser, or they are less in number, or they're in minority. You can ignore them. Never do that. It's not something that people would appreciate. So if you have given your audience, or if you're in an organization and you've already shown all the things properly, correctly, people will immediately associate with you, because the information that you're sharing, the information that you're giving, you've already built a credibility, which is very important in today's business world, especially when we are using a lot of faith, when we are using a lot of confidence with the other people, trusting them. When you're living in a virtual world, you have to have clarity of the purpose. Why are we communicating today? Why are we having this webinar today? Is there some specific reason, or is there something that we have for future, something planned for future? So only if you're sure, only if you're clear with it, then we move forward. But if that C is not clear, it's like a question mark, then it will not make understanding proper. So it's very important, after you have understood the clarity of why you are communicating or why you are here, be considerate. Just as we are having this communication, just as we are talking over here, we are considerate that it is late hours in Bangladesh. It's, towards the night. Whereas in some parts of the world, it's still during the day, and in some, it's like the evening. So you have to be considerate, especially, when you see, who is my audience. And if you are at work, make sure if you have older people, or if you have people who have been waiting in the queue for a long time, be courteous to them. At workplace, these are very small things, guys, very, very small and simple things, but they count a lot. Especially I mean, coming from India, I remember when I used to go to some of the places here, they would not even ask a glass of water. Imagine a glass of water, which in our culture is like an in thing. The moment a guest comes or the moment you are even at office, the first thing that you ask is, how can I help you? Would you like to have cold or hot? Would you like to have a glass of water? That's the first thing. It's a very basic thing, very, very basic example. Same as in the business, in the organization, make sure you are considerate, give realistic goals to your employees. Do not give Herculean tasks. I want this work to be done in 3 days, when actually you can't do even in 5 days. So try to empathize with your employees. I'll be talking a little bit more about emotional intelligence, which is a must in business these days. You have to be considerate, because only if you're thinking like a considerate boss, or as a considerate employee, or as a considerate employer, things will be very smooth and you will really enjoy the results of what you're doing and how you're doing. The 7th C, which is be concise. As I said, if you are talking too much, if you're stretching the elastic too much, it loses its elasticity. It loses its importance. So make sure you keep your communication precise. You don't have to say a lot. You don't have to keep on going on repeating the concept. Keep the communication concise, because only when the information is concise, we are able to pay more attention. So now I'll quickly want to see, I'll stop sharing the screen because now I want to see your faces, how you have been doing so far. Just as I said, when you talk too much, it loses importance. So it's very important to constantly keep looking to your people, how they are, what they are. And especially at work, nowadays we have to use a lot of emotional intelligence, which goes in line with communication. Because as I was saying, if you give unrealistic goals to your employees, or if you give some tasks to your employees which are kind of not possible, they will do it for the heck of doing, but they will not respect you as a boss. They'll just say, oh, I have to do because he's my boss. So it's important for each one of us, even if we are living in the world of digitalization, we need to connect emotionally. We need to communicate emotionally. Sit with your people, try to have time with your families. Because if you are a workaholic, which is very common these days, people are in a rat race. Everyone is mad. I want to prove myself. They're just running one goal after the other. It's great. It's great if you want to do that. But guys, this time is not going to come back. Today, we are on 28th August in Switzerland. It is 4:45. Okay. This time is not going to come back. 2020, it's not going to come back. It's going to go. So try to find time, communicate efficiently, try using this time much better way. Just don't keep on saying things, or just don't keep on blabbering things for the heck of saying. Speak to the point, make yourself understood, because sometimes people listen just passively. They are there doing like this, but they're not there with you. Yes, Kunal, I can see your head nodding. So it's very important, whatever you say, try to create an impact by making connection with your audience, whether it's at work, whether it's at home. Even when your wife is asking you, do you want more chapatis? Do you want more rice? How is the food? Sometimes guys just say yes, yes, for everything. Without realizing whether it's good or bad, they just say yes, ki chalo, my work is done. So please make sure when you communicate substance. Communicate in a way that you empathize with your audience, whether it's public speaking, as a TEDx speaker, I have always seen the first 50 seconds, you have just 1 minute, roughly 1 minute to know your audience. If you have them for good. As I said, I could not understand what Mr. Rahman was saying, but I was with him because I think I was emotionally connected. I was trying to understand what he's saying. So emotionally, you were so powerful that I was there with you. And that's the power of communication. Whether you're at home, whether you're with people, or I with my students, we need to see, we just have first 50 seconds. It looks very little, but believe me, guys, it's just 50 seconds. If you lose your audience, it's gone. Then they don't pay attention. But if you have them, if you're talking substance in just those 50 seconds, they are there with you. So please make sure you communicate effectively, communicate using emotions, because only if you communicate using emotions, you are there with them. You are there with the people. Never lose your audience. And if you lose your audience, whether it's your, if you're talking about verbal communication or oral communication, understand sometimes you have to use your body language. You have to use your face. Like right now, we can just use the face because we are all sitting in front of the screens. But if we are on a stage, yes, if you're sitting on a stage or if you are in an actual face-to-face conversation, make sure you move around and try to maintain eye contact. Because the more you communicate, the more audience will understand you. So my message to all of you is, I would like to conclude by saying, do not give up. Do not think, even after trying so much, nothing is happening, I can't do it, I need to stop. No. Because if you give up, you're giving your life. Communication should be such that we keep trying to the last breath of our life. We have to communicate. We have to make people understand. Maybe sometimes people don't understand. Like I was struggling here when I came to Switzerland because the language here is French and I didn't even know F of French. And I'm not as good in communications or learning languages as Dr. Saxena. But still, I tried to find my niche. I was doing a lot of body language, like sign language, this or drinking, those kind of things. It was very difficult. But still, I was able to get through because I wanted people to understand me. So never give up on anything in your day-to-day life. If you have to reach across to the people, just communicate with your complete intention, using the 7 C's, of course, but sometimes they may not be practical. That could be too theoretical. You can use your sign language, you can use your life skills to be understood and make people understand. Thank you so much for being such amazing audience and listening to me passionately. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. 𝗬𝗵𝗺। It's a really insightful and powerful presentation from you as the 7 C's of communication. Really, really mind-blowing. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the time is yours. Now you can ask any kinds of question regarding communication or anything else. Especially you can ask some question from emotional intelligence also, because Dr. 𝗬𝗵 also is a master of emotional intelligence. So you can ask any question regarding communication or any kinds of question from emotional intelligence. The floor is yours.
I want to ask a question to Dr. 𝗬𝗵.
Yeah, Mr. Excitement. Yes,
Yes.
please carry on.
Dr. 𝗬𝗵, now we saw the receiver and the source, the model of communication. Who is more important? Is it the receiver, or who is responsible for the understanding? Is it the speaker or the receiver?
See, as I said, that's a very tactful question. I can only think Mr. Hamza posing that question. Yes. See, when I am the trainer, so I have to be giving something which is of purpose, something which is of value to my audience, that is you. So I, as a trainer, has to constantly see my viewers, my audience, whether they are understanding or not. So in a good communication, in a good two-way communication, both the speaker as well as the audience is important. Because if you're just speaking, an audience is not understanding because of language or because it's getting late or it's not making any sense, they lose attention, they lose interest. So it just stops there. It's just like a monologue. It's not a dialogue, it's a monologue. So if it is me, the speaker, and you, the audience, it also plays an important role. Like if you are nodding, if you're smiling, if you're asking questions, if you are showing excitement, like in an actual condition, like when we go, we have standing ovation, people stand up and give ovation, or they clap in the middle. So that means that they're interested. So that's why both play a very important role. We can't say it's the trainer who's more important because he can talk anything, but if people don't understand, it's a sheer waste. And we can also say audience is important because they are the ones who are getting the information. And if they are there with you, they will be there constantly and keep on asking intelligent questions, not just something for the heck of being there.
Thank you very much, Dr. 𝗬𝗵. We have another question from Dr. Kunal Saxena. You can check your chat box, please.
Okay, how do you make the audience feel excited for what you have communicated? Very nice, very exciting question. I think the Mr. Excitement went from Mr. Hamza to Dr. Saxena now. Yes.
Okay.
This is something like, in a real situation, what I started with you as an exercise, because I know we are running short of time. So I didn't want to have a very, give a lot of exercises or give a lot of fun things. But normally when you're having an audience, which is face-to-face, it depends on two different kinds of situations. If it's a face-to-face, always ask with a question. Have the audience with you instantly. Ask a question or say something that audience is not expecting. So then they're like, oh my God, wow. Like I'll just give you an example. For my TEDx talk, I use props. I use sunglasses, and it was dark, it was night, but I went in sunglasses. There was a reason, there was a purpose, because I was having conjunctivitis. But because I went with sunglasses, everyone was like, wow, that's so cool. They started paying attention. But then I said, artificial intelligence or virtual reality or reality. So I removed my glasses. I used that as a prop for virtual reality. So that was appreciated very well, and I had with me. And they were constantly, clapping and whistling and standing up. I even got a standing ovation for that. And in virtual, thank you. And in virtual thing, which I said, in real, it's still easier because you have the audience in front of you. You can actually see what is happening, whether they are there or not. Whereas in virtual, sometimes if you just use a lot of chat windows, or if you use gamification, or if you use something which audience wants to ask questions, then you can make them interested instantly. Like when we do Facebook lives, or when we do different kinds of live streams, when you ask questions and more people are popping, or when you say, I want every one of you to write that using the chat window, instantly audience is like feeling valued, that we're not just mere spectators listening to a boring discussion, but we are participating as well. So they are there with you. Make your audience feel valued. Because if you respect them, as I said, be considerate, don't talk too much, be considerate, and respect your audience. Because if you make them feel valued, automatically they'll come back to you and they feel excited about it. Thank you.
Another question from another participant. He asking that body language is essential for communication.
Yes, of course, Mr. Alam Chaudhary. Communication plays a very, very important role, especially, as I said in the beginning, I was struggling with French. I didn't even know one word in French except bonjour. That's it. And I was struggling so much that I was like, I wish I could say in Hindi. I wish I could say that in my language, but it wasn't. So body language plays a very, very important role, especially when you're using your hands, or right now when we just have the screen. All I have with me right now today when we are communicating is the screen. So I'm using my hands, I'm using my eyes. When I have to raise voice, I'm like, yes, you can do it. Like those kind of things. So it's all using body language. Or if you remember, I don't know how many of you are filmy, but as an Indian, I'm a very Bollywood person. If you remember in the past, in the movies, they would show a lot of face, just the face, right? So it's the same thing. With the face, you could dance. With the face, you could talk about certain things, showing anger, showing excitement. Same as in communications now. You can make any emotion clearly depictable to the audience or to the people on virtual media by using body language. Whether you're if you're sitting like this, or some people, they do like this, making some hand movements, it makes people feel clearly whether they are there with you or they are not. So only, that's very, very nice, Mr. Hassan Ahmed. Excellent. That's a very good thumb rule that you have just presented in the chat window. Spoken words are just 7%. And body language is 55%. Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing these exact details. And that's concrete evidence. What I just use in my 7 C's, that's concrete evidence. The moment he has given this, that means he is definitely paying attention. He has facts, he has figures, how much body language plays an important role. What you're speaking, sometimes people listen from here and take out from here. It doesn't make sense, sometimes, because if the audience is just listening to too many people, they're like falling asleep. But the body language, how you communicate, how you bend down, or you do something, some movement, that stays with the mind of people. that will always remain there. People will always remember, oh, she was wearing sunglasses. What I spoke, I don't think people will remember that. Very few people might remember. But the things that you do, the drama that happens on the stage, people always remember. So that's why it's body language, and it's very important.
Thank you very much, Dr. 𝗕𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗵. This is a really wonderful explanation regarding body language. And already Mr. Hassan Ahmed wrote in chat box, which is Professor Dr. Albert Mehrabian thumb rule, which is body language give impact minimum 55%.
Exactly.
So this is a powerful theory. So thank you very much, Dr. 𝗕𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗵, for your excellent presentation on 7 C's of communication.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time is for leadership topic. One renowned quote you may heard, like, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Yes, I'm saying the quote from John C. Maxwell. You know, John C. Maxwell is a world-renowned leadership guru, is a John C. Maxwell. So now the time is for leadership intelligence in business. This topic will be presented none other than the man of Mr. Excitement. Is a well-known in our training community internationally. Yes, Mr. Excitement is from Kuwait. Right now, he's staying in New York, and he's a contributing author and master performance consultant. He's a Chief Excitement Officer, Knowledge Consulting, Kuwait. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Hamza Taki as well as Mr. Excitement for give his presentation on leadership intelligence. Thank you, Mr. Taki.
Mr. Abdi. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I wonder, there are still people participating. Guys, if I'm in your shoes, I would be gone. Why are you still here? No, just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, I have a long time ago, actually in 1989, 99, I was the head of product development in the bank, and we had an issue because you remember the old days. I don't know, you're too young. There was Y2K, the issue of Y2K. So whenever we go to IT to develop something by IT, they say, no, Y2K is a priority. We have to take care of Y2K. We don't know what's going to happen. Everything is frozen. So back then, we received a new CEO. That CEO is really tough. Even, I wasn't GM back then. I wasn't the C-level, but I was below. So I had a GM, above me, and then the CEO. Everybody was scared of that CEO because he was very, systematic, and he was good in follow-up and so on. What happened, he asked the retailers, why are you putting a target this much? For example, let's say 20% over last year. And everybody said, well, we're not going to do 20%. We did that based on what the marketing told us. They said we'll have this product, that service, and nothing is happening. So he said, who's responsible? They said, Hamza Taki. So his secretary called me and she said, Hamza, you have a meeting every Monday at 1 o'clock at the CEO office. And I said, why? He said, well, you have a problem with the products and services, and he's going to help you. So to cut the story short, I used to go there like 10 minutes before the meeting, just to be early, One day I was waiting, and the CEO was inside a room, not his room, the meeting room, with the chairman of the organization. And they were screaming at each other, literally fighting with each other. And I looked at the office manager, and I told her, Anne, maybe, the boss is really busy. He's with the chairman. and let me go to my office, and whenever he is ready, call me and I'll come. It's only from the 4th floor to the 7th floor. She said, no, he doesn't like that. Since you have an appointment with him, you know, you have to be there in time. And at exactly the time of the meeting, that door opens. The CEO came out. His name is John Wright, by the way. And he gave me that nice smile. And then he took me like this, you know, in his arm, and we walked to his office. We walked together, we went to his office. He sat me in his, you know, meeting little round table. He went to his desk, he brought the journal or the calendar, and then he opened it and he started the meeting. When I left that meeting, I was really shocked. I said, this guy just, he was in a fight with the chairman. They were screaming at each other. And with a flip of the second, he flipped and he changed and he conducted. Now tell me in the chat, who can do that? Who really can do that? Of course, after, you know, a long time, I get to know him much better and so on. So I had a chance to ask him, I said, Mr. Wright, remember 3 years ago, this happened? And he said, yeah, I remember. I said, how could you do it? He said, come on, what happened in that room has nothing to do with you. This is something else. Can you sense that as a leader? That, you know, some leader, like, for example, I'm as a dad, if one of my daughter bothered me, I might, you know, take that negative energy into the other daughter or the other son or the other family member, you know? So that's really, really critical. And this is the leadership that we need now. It's the mindful leadership. It's the conscious leadership. And this is what we're going to talk about together. Are you listening to me? Are you there, guys? I don't know if you're there or not. Can I share? I will share my presentation.
Yes, Mr.
Yes,
Taqi,
we
you
are
can
there.
share.
Okay.
We are
Yes,
there.
thank you. Thank you, Robi.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can write in a chat box that you are there. Can you write in chat box, yes, I'm here.
Oh, we started listening to children screaming. Okay, so this is our topic, and basically it's, you know, leadership intelligence in business. What I did, I dissected to 3 areas. So the first area is the intellect or the intelligence, and then the second area is the business itself, and then a leadership. And this is all based on my personal experience, and of course from other sources and books and what have you. So the intellect, we have 2 issues, the thoughts, and then we will talk about the neuroscience behind the intellect. The second I will talk about is the marketing mix in terms of business, and then the people element within that marketing mix. And the third and last is the leadership, as I said, mindful leadership. And we will have an example on 𝗕𝗫𝗀𝗆, which is the Southwest Airlines guy. You know him, okay? So these are the 3 topics. Thoughts. Can you write in the chat how, if you can, stop the thoughts that are in your mind altogether? Raise your hand or say yes in the chat, please. Let's have some interactivity. Okay. Anyone can stop the thoughts altogether? Maybe you can unmute yourself and tell us. How can you do that so you can help us? Well, you know, thoughts is basically, yes.
It's possible.
It is possible. All right.
It's possible.
Doctor, can you give us just a little hint on how?
Okay, it depends on situation to situation. I have come across various situations where, you know, one operation has no interrelevance with the other, and you as a person have to behave different in both the sense. So
you become
the-
situational.
You became situational. The way you behave with your boss in office is not the way you behave with your wife at home.
Very
And
true.
the way you behave with your wife at home, you can't behave with your boss in office. I wish it was possible, but it is not. It's
Very
not.
true. Yes.
So,
yes.
you know, I will give you a small anecdote, just 30
Yeah.
seconds, Ramza.
Yes, please.
You know, it is a very profound saying that people don't get angry, but it is the situation which makes them. You know, it's very simple. If I am in my office and I am feeling so angry at my boss because he's giving me more targets and more works and more of things, but I will keep it inside me because I know end of the day I am going to get something from there and he records my performance. So I keep my anger inside me and I have to hold it. But at home when I come, I will take out that grin plus what is happening here and I'll double it.
And that's the problem. This is called, Dr. I'm sure, Dr. Saxena, you know that, it's called social intelligence. And Danielle Goldman has a new book on social intelligence, which is basically, it's for leadership. It's different than what Dr. Ruby talked about earlier in terms of emotional intelligence. Social intelligence, it takes part of, you know, dealing with other people, especially your team at work and your boss at work, and we will go more deeply on that level. My second question is now when we have so many thoughts in our mind, do we perform better, or when we are so clear-minded? So tell me yes or no in the chat. If you are, you know, if you are do very well when you are thinking. So tell me, if you are too much thinking, you do very well in terms of decision making and what have you. Chat for me, chat, please. Tell me, I need to know you. Not necessarily, okay. Yes, yes, okay. Depends. Okay. No, see, really, if you have so much thoughts coming into your mind, you will not be able to, you know, to think cleverly or to deal with stuff much better. I don't think so. I don't think you can. And we will see as we go along. Now, based on the National Science Foundation, we have daily basis, or on daily basis per day, on average, we have 12,000 to 60 or more thousands. I'm trying to get rid of this chat box. Yeah, okay. Navigating myself. So some of us have 12,000, which is good, but some of us have up to 60,000 thoughts per day, which is really bad. That's really too much thoughts. The problem is that 80% of those thoughts are all negative thoughts, okay? That's a fact. Not only that, 95% of all these thoughts that we are occupying our mind on daily basis are repetitive, okay? So we repeat all these negative thoughts, and Coach Trevor Mohan, he has a, he says that negative thought is 4 times more effective, or it can affect you 4 times more than the positive thoughts. And when you you know, use your words to state the thoughts, like you say, like, I'm angry. If you say that, it is 10 times more affects your system, and you start believing it like a placebo. Cognitive behavioral therapy calls this automatic negative thoughts, which is the ants. That's what I'm talking about. What kind of thoughts that we're talking about. Now, not all negative thoughts are bad. Some are really good for our surviving. Some are good. You're thinking about doing good a job so you can get a bonus or you can get your salary or can get a promotion. So negative thoughts are really good, but not all of them are useless. Not all of them are useless. Some are good, but not all are good. Have you ever noticed what kind of thoughts that comes in your mind? One day we were sitting after like a meditation session back home. One gentleman, they were asking people about their feedback, and one gentleman immediately said, before I took the meditation course, I didn't know that I was thinking. And I was thinking all the time. And what are we thinking of? We're always thinking of either thinking of past, regretting something, or thinking of the future, worrying about something. And what happens to us if we're thinking of the future, we're thinking of the past, we are not living the moment. That means we are not living our life, because our life, it's constripes of moment by moment by moment. That makes our life. So we think too much. And meditation or focusing on your breath helps you, shut down that mental chatter or the internal dialogue that we have in our mind, especially the negative type. And usually that's what we have, the negative type. And I will tell you why we have always the negative type by default. Just think how much better, energy and time we have if we have less thought. Just think how much better focus you could possess. Well, focus is very important, guys. Thinking too much is not good. Just think how much better inner peace and happiness you will have when you are controlling the mental chatter, the dialogue that you have. Who knows this guy? Who is he? He's a friend of mine, not famous.
Mahatma Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, father of the nation, India.
Yes. And this gentleman, peace be upon him, everywhere I go, and I love traveling. Now Corona is blocking us somehow. But when I travel all over, west, east, north, west, south, I will always find his picture or a statue of this man, Mahatma Gandhi. And he said, you can read it, of course, a man is but the product of his thoughts. What you think, what he thinks, he becomes. And this is, across all religions, across all, history, what a man thinketh, you become what you think, and so on. So let's go into the neuroscience a bit, just to show you what's happening. We have something called the amygdala, and it's a tiny thing in the center of the brain. And this is the alert system that we have, the flight.
Mr. 𝗕𝗚𝗃𝗵𝗺, please আপনার মাইকটা একটু অফ করবেন। আমি হোস্টকে একটু রিকোয়েস্ট করব এক্সপার্টস একাডেমির 𝗕𝗚𝗃𝗵𝗺 ওনার মাইকটা একটু অফ করে দেওয়ার জন্য। থ্যাংক ইউ।
The amygdala is performing.
Thank you, 𝗕𝗚𝗃𝗵𝗺. Okay, so the amygdala is a part of the brain that scans for threats. It's the alert, and it communicates with the frontal cortex, which is in both the hemisphere right and left, in the frontal lobe. This is the decision making or the management center of the brain. So every alert that comes from the amygdala, they decide they Google kind of the brain for anything similar that happens from childhood, and how can you it's a survival mechanism. It's a flight or fight or freeze mechanism that we all have. Of course, in the old days, there was so much physical threats on a human being, so the amygdala was making us survive. But nowadays, there is not really much physical threats. There is physical, like maybe more of a social, or somebody tells me something, and then I will feel a threat rather than the physical threat, like a cyber tiger comes to you, and all of a sudden your blood, circulate, it goes to your limb, and you're ready to fly or fight. For that matter, it's up to you. So we all have this amygdala hijack, and when we get into the amygdala hijack, we're always scanning for threats. Why is he looking at me like this? Why she gave me that look, and so on. Or why did he talk to me like this, and so on. So it's always, looking for that. Do I eat it, or does it eat me? Like this. Better safe than sorry. It's an early warning system alerting us for possible physical danger. And sometimes it hijacks us, where we get angry and we do misconduct, and then we start thinking of, oh, what did I do, and what have you. So basically, what social intelligence, or what social intelligence and emotional intelligence is, how you regulate this communication between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, so you behave the way according to your values. And sometimes you need to change some of the values, because some values we got them since childhood, before we reach the age of 7, and it affects us till today. So now we understood from the neuroscience that thoughts will not make us more intelligent. Actually, when we have less thought, we are more focused, we're more intelligent. If we are worrying too much, then we cannot do any good. We cannot use our intellect to the maximum. Now, it's the business. What do you think the business is of any organization? What do you think the business is? What do you need to have a business?
Idea, concept.
Idea,
thoughts,
okay.
Concepts, thoughts,
Yeah.
design, blueprint, people, place.
Beautiful.
Planning.
Beautiful. I say the 7 P's the marketing makes, right?
I said it all.
Yes, I know.
Great.
Yes. So really look at the 7 P's. Can you have a business without any of those?
No.
You can't. And then which one is the most important?
Product.
You think so? Who
All are
makes the product?
interrelated. All are interrelated. All
Correct.
are
But one is the most important.
people.
Because, yes, excellent. People. Why?
Because they are the ones who are going to use the product. They're the one who create the demand.
No. Here, sorry. Here, thank you for your interaction. But here, people, what we mean by people is not the external people. It's the people in the organization. Internal. Yes, it's our employees.
Yes.
It's the team that we have. Now, who makes the product? Who makes the process? Who makes the price?
People.
Who makes the people? So it is the most important. And I add to that, it's the most important. People are the most important for any organization. And they are the business. You know why? Because they have the brain to think of. They have the heart to feel the customer, what he wants, and they have the passion to work. And they make all these, they can change the process, make it easier, like Dr. Rahman said in our, in e-government, and how Bangladesh worked in making the process so seamless, so the customer or the people can get the benefits or or the product or the solution from the government easy while they are at home or using their mobile or iPad or what have you. So who made that? It's the people. Okay? So we agreed that the people are the most important element in the marketing mix. And that's what made me go into the people development, hence knowledge consulting, putting people first. Okay? Who spoke about John C. Maxwell? I think
yes, I say
Sina,
the quote.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. Mr. Ефти said a quote about John C. Maxwell, and this is very famous 5-level leadership model, and it takes you from the positioning when you get the title, when somebody got promoted to be a manager or a team leader. This is a positioning. You have the rights. People follow you because they have to, because they are afraid of you. Thank God we have a permission level, and then we have a production level where you don't want to be under a leader that doesn't bring results to the team or to the organization, right? You want to be part of the team who's successful. They're bringing results. They're and then from level 3 you go to level 4, which is that's the main area that takes you to become pinnacle leader, which is the production is where you take care of your people. Again, people here becomes crucial. And I haven't seen any good leader who doesn't like people. It's a people game. It's a people, thingy. So in order to be good in leadership, you have to love your people, and you have to be really candid enough to ask them questions to know what, especially now. If you are a leader and you haven't communicated during the curfew or the lockdown with your people, you are not a leader, really. You have to show your commitment to them. You have to show your passion to them. You have to show your feeling to them, so they feel that they have a boss or a leader that's care about them, not only about the business. And only then people will respect you. And people will respect you. You can ask them for anything. I still have leaders. I mean, some of my leaders, if they ask me for anything, I will go and run and try to help them by all means. I still have people that I led before. I don't lead them anymore. But if I need any help from any of them, they will come running to help me. Why? Because they respect me. Why they respect me? Not because I'm 𝗕𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃, no, because I helped them out. I put them in the right track. I made them succeed. Okay? So, which of course takes us to the third area, which is leadership. And conscious leadership or mindful leadership is leading your own life and taking care of your own mind. What's going on, and being more conscious and alert and present in the moment to moment. Because sometimes you have as a leader, because what we do as a leader, we don't do much as leaders. To succeed and try to make the environment much better for our people so they excel and the whole organization excel. So you need to know about yourself. What do you really care about? What sparks your curiosity? Where are you showing up? What doesn't feel right? What makes you upset? What ticks you? What makes you tick? What lights you up? If I know this for myself and I know this for my team, then I can communicate with them very well. Now, if I have a better time, I would give you an exercise, and you all participate in the exercise where you draw your hand, and within your hand, you write certain stuff. If we have time, we can do it if you want at the end. So the mindful leader is they slow down. So remember, you know, everybody has a car, I assume, or presume. Now, can you keep your car running all the time? All the time. Can you do that? Of course not. You need to shut it down. So even your mind, you need to shut it down. If you shut it down, you will notice more. If your mind is so much occupied with all the thinking and all the worries about the future and the regret of the past, you will not be able to focus on what is in front of you. Even somebody, you know, walking by and say, "Good morning, sir," or "Good morning, madam," and you don't, you know, acknowledge them because you are in your mind. Okay. Second, working harder isn't necessarily the best way. You know, I knew a sales leader, of course, Mr. 𝗕𝗵𝗺 can vet on this. He's a sales manager and he's sitting in his office. His sales team is all over the place, all territory-wise, they're running around, knocking doors, and he would call each one of them. "Mr. Yusuf, how much did you sell?" That's it. "Oh, you're not doing a good job, you should sell." "Mr. So-and-so, how many calls do you?" This is not your job. Your job as a leader, you should go with them and be with them and look at them, how they do their visit, how they do their sales. And then after the visit, maybe give them some feedback, maybe encouraging them, maybe coaching them to become better, to become professional, rather than sitting in your office and just checking how much they sold by the phone. That's not good. It drops the need to prove, to push or strive. You know, you don't need to prove yourself when you are mindful. You don't need to look at, oh, who's attacking me, who's, you know, talking negatively about me near the coffee machine. And you will be aware of the wisdom all around you, especially in your people. Because, you know, as leader, we don't do much. Our people do the whole work. There is a book for Maria Gonzalez, very nice book called The Mindful Leader. And in it, she discussed 9 ways of self-awareness, transforming yourself and inspiring others. The first one is being present. You need to be present. Second, being positive. You know, who wants to hire somebody who's always complaining, who's always negative, who's always looking at the, the glass half empty, as they say? You need to be compassionate. You need to see your people. You need to be in their shoes to see the way they see it, rather than being in your own, high store area. You need to be impeccable. You need to be composed as a leader. And you need to be aware of the facts, especially now with COVID. There is so many news, crazy news. You need to sit and be aware of the facts and communicate with your team to lower their thoughts, to lower their worries, so their immune system becomes stronger and they survive the epidemic. You need to be clear, as Dr. Ruby said, in your communication. Being calm, focused, one-on-one. When you're talking to your child, when you're talking to your student, when you're talking to your colleague, when you're talking to your boss, you're one-on-one. One-on-one. You cannot be like, talking to somebody and your ears is somewhere else. Or you cannot be multitasking. So many of us multitask and we think, wow, we're doing well, we're doing so many things. No, the research now on the brain says you cannot multitask. But if you take, if you take your attention to another task and come back, you lose a lot of time. So it is not healthy. So these are the 9 ways. We don't have all day to discuss them, but this is. Now, this is the example I have for you. Southwest Airlines. Anybody heard of Southwest Airlines? Southwest Airlines are the creator of no-frills airlines, like Fly Dubai, and there's so many, and Jazeera and so on. And
Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera. Now this guy in the 70s. his friend, they wrote in a napkin, they want to help the Americans to travel, especially, you know, during Christmas time and holidays, to travel there to their parents, or, you know, and so and back then in the 70s, you know, traveling in the airplane used to be very, like, you know, for the elite, you know. So he thought of ideas to lower the price. And how can you lower the price, if I can ask you a question? You know, there are so many airlines and there's so many competition, and especially in America. In my lifetime, since I went to school 30 years ago here, till now, I've seen so many airlines that went busted, bankrupt, or merger, or whatever. But this airline have been straight on the green, successful, and attracting people, attracting pilots, attracting you know, stewardess, and so on. Why do you think is that? It's because of 𝗕𝗫𝗀𝗃. This leader, he's people oriented. He's always, you know, you see him with his people, you don't know, you can figure out who's the leader. Doesn't have much charisma. You know, we think, you know, leader has to be tall and on a white horse, and he should be good looking. And no, this gentleman had led Southwest Airlines for 50 years on the profit.
He cared for the internal customer more than the external customer.
What was that?
He cared for the internal customers more than the external customers.
Absolutely. And that's the idea of being really, because see, I hope I somehow alerted on that the people are the most important. So when you are a leading business, you are leading people. And if you are not good with people, forget it. People are not, you need to be pinnacle as a leader, as you know, look at this. This was in Forbes cover, Forbes magazine cover. You know, usually, you know, as a leader, you cannot do that. But this guy have changed, you know, the way we look at leadership. This is their commercial. Without a heart, it's just a machine. So they really believe in their people. They really believe in the internal customers. This is their values, or how they live in the work. Warrior spirit, servant heart, fun-loving attitude. Very simple, huh? Straightforward. You cannot forget them. Some organization, they have big list of values and so on that nobody remembers. They just talk about it, put it in the website, everybody forget it. The Southwest Airlines, they live this. They do it every time. For example, you know, if you've been in Southwest Airlines, they, you know, the safety announcement usually is boring, right? For us now, frequent driver. Now, you know, getting in the airplane is like, yeah, getting into, you know, a taxi, like.
Yeah.
It's,
exactly.
it's not the prestige that you used to have in the 70s. Not for me, I mean, for my parents and so on. But the fact now it becomes natural. And I have a friend who's a captain. I said, whoa, my friend is a captain. And he said, come on, man, I'm only a driver. I drive the airplane. And I don't know, with Dr. Kunal, subject artificial intelligence, I don't think we need drivers for cars in the future, because it's going to be autonomous automobiles. I don't know, it's going to be the same for the airplane. Imagine without a pilot, you are in the airplane. I think it's more likely to be successful. Now, I'll give you only example on fun-loving attitude, okay? One passenger wrote to the organization saying, see, listen, this safety announcement should be serious. You are laughing, you are dancing, you are, you know, being like goofy, you know, announcing, you know, you're singing, you're sometimes they make the announcement like, put on your seatbelt or something like this in like a rap format. They're singing it. So this guy was like a serious person. He wrote to them and said, this is a serious matter. It should be more serious. What do you think? The letter went to HERB. Huh? That's how 𝗕𝗫𝗀𝗃 involved in the day-to-day work and involved in listening to the customer feedback. So the letter went to 𝗕𝗵𝗺𝗃𝗃, and what do you think he would respond to that customer? Write me in the chat, please.
Be ready for a free ride.
Oh, yes, exactly. This is what most airlines do. They give you a voucher for or first class ticket or something just to compensate, correct? And it doesn't cost them much, correct? You know what 𝗕 did? He wrote in the same letter in his handwriting, that's what the case says, "We will miss you." Can you imagine? We will miss you. You're not our customers.
Not allowed
Go
to
somewhere
travel
else.
anymore.
Hmm?
Not allowed to travel anymore.
Well, go somewhere else. Go to another competition. You know, we are fun-loving attitude, and we are being successful all this year. I'm not going to change my core values for one single feedback. So this is what he says as well. Hire for attitude, train the skills. You know, skills can be learned. But when you hire somebody with a bad attitude, you cannot teach him, you cannot change him. So you look at the attitude, and then the skills and the competency comes later. You can teach them that, and you can make them. This is his quote: "Your people come first, and if you treat them right, they'll treat the customer right. And guess what? The stakeholder, the shareholders will be happy because you'll have repeated business. Your customers are happy, and they stay loyal for the organization, because there is a study that says, 70% of people or employees, they leave the organization. They don't leave the organization, they leave the boss or the guy who is ahead of them. This is from the social intelligence book of Daniel Goldman, and it has 4 practices. I'm not going to go through it. It's just for you to think about and to see how many components for you to be a social intelligence and the competencies entailed for. And here, main thing is self-awareness and self-management. So you manage your emotions. You don't get angry, easily. Or when you get angry, you control your anger. You don't go haywire. And the social awareness, empathizing, and the relationship management, of course, which is all about coaching, team building, inspiring people, and what have you. I hope I didn't go more than my time, so we can have questions and answers, and you can follow me, or let's follow each other, and pause the share. I think I can do that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Excitement.
Thank you.
Our beloved speaker from Kuwait. Mr. Hamzaki, really, it's a very insightful
Thank you, sir, and thank you. Thank you for everybody, for the other speakers, for the participation. I loved every minute. And thanks to Expert Academy and Future Icon for having us here and allowing us to share our humble opinions with all of you. Thank you.
Mr. Taki, we can take 2 or 3 questions from
Please.
participants. So please, can you stop your sharing, please?
Yeah, I didn't do that? Yes. That's it? Did I stop?
Still, it's not working. Can you check again?
How do I stop? Oh, stop share. Yes, I see it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, actually, when Mr. Taki is starting his presentation, on that time, I just found 2 or 3 special thoughts, which is NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is really, really, really very important for us. Second is 7-piece marketing mix, where he mentioned exactly people is very much needed for a leader. Third is a 5-level leadership. And Mr. Taki, one participant with Mr. Sabbirul Alam Chowdhury asked you that what kind of leadership is better to survive an institution or a country. Can you explain, please?
Oh, that's a big question. I don't know how long hours you have, but basically, see, Mr. Alam, we have a problem in leadership. We have a leadership crisis worldwide. I mean, that's why we still have wars. We still have, childish, leadership, because we don't have the mindful leader. And, a true leadership is the authentic leadership, is the conscious, is the mindful. Be it a leader on a country, or leader on your household, or a leader for your team, your department. What you need to know is, as a leader, is how you use the potential of your team, the potential of the sources that you have, putting them in the right track, putting them on the stage to win, helping them win, helping them being successful, being proud, being a proud citizen for that country. We as a human being are created by God to do something, to create. We have a creation in us. Like God is a creator, or Allah is the creator. He created us. He created us for a reason, to create. I mean, look at what we've done with the technology. We created so many things, but we need to go back to the essence on how do we deal with our people, and how we stimulate them to do their best, and how we keep our best talent in-house so we become better. Because if you see from the marketing mix, people are the ones that makes the product and services. I don't know how I got excited and pulled my earpiece, but yeah. So there is no, we learned a lot of, there's so many leadership. And I would like to, maybe I should write it here. I don't know if you can see this. From Aeons, in the beginning, they say process, okay? And for example, people. So in the first theories, they said a process is more important. If you have good process, if you have good procedure, and everything is clear, people will follow the procedure, and they will contribute, and they will produce. Another school came, I think, Michigan State University, they said, no, we take care of our people. The people will produce. And they had like an argument between both, okay? They said, no, this is better, and this is better. And actually, both are good. And you need to be situational, depending. For example, if you have an employee that you want to give a task to write a report about this program. Now, if that employee, if he or she did not done a report before, what you need to give them is process, is how to do it, is guidelines. But if they are expert in writing report, they have done so many reports, what you need to do is give them support here. You give them support, you give them, freedom to do what they need to do. But sometimes what we do, we mix. So what you get here, you get actually 4 leadership styles. And this is King Blanchard called it the situational leadership. By the way, we teach and we train and we certified people on situational leadership. And here is this person, for example, S1, because this guy is not fully developed in a certain task or certain objective or goal, then this guy needs, this guy S1, S4. So this guy needs a lot of directions. Like, let's say he's on report writing, he never done a report. Then me as a leader, what I should do, I should give him templates, I should show him the previous reports, and I shouldn't give him time to come and visit me so I can see if he's in the right track or not. That's my job to do that. That's the level 4 of people development and the John C. Maxwell. Then hopefully he'll go here, then I will do, still I give him a lot of directions, and I still give him a lot of support. He needs more support than here. Here, he needs only directions, how to do it, and maybe more time. Here, he needs more support because now he knows something that he didn't know before. What he will do now is basically, needs more support of, holding hands and saying, no, I know it's difficult in the beginning, but you will get through. And hopefully he will move to this area. And here, he doesn't need any direction because he got directions here and here. Here, all he needs is support. So we as leader, we use these two behaviors: direction behaviors, support behaviors. And this is in the old days, you used to call it the stick and the carrots. If you know what I mean, or punishment and, benefits. Some people, they just give benefits. Some leaders are really good in people like me. So it's always people, 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 and they forget about the results. So you need to be careful. You need to be both result and people.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Taki. So in leadership situation, we need both. People-oriented, at the same time, we need task-oriented. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, you can write in chat box. We will ask our today's speaker. And Mr. Hamza Taki, really, we are grateful to you for your brilliant presentation on leadership intelligence. And really, it's a very insightful presentation from you. And hope we will learn from you in future more regarding this leadership journey.
I'm really, humble to say that thank you for having me. And I love this group. And I hope, anytime I'm available.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Excitement. Dear viewers, today we are lucky enough that we have another two special resource person as a participant. One is from America. Now, 𝗕𝗺𝗴𝗹. She is a trainer and she is living California, USA. So if Olga, you are listening, please can you unmute your mic and say hi, hello to Bangladesh participants? 𝗕𝗺𝗴𝗹, are you listening?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
It's a good morning from you. Yes.
Yeah, good evening. Good day.
Of course. Thank you. So
Good to see you all.
Thank
wonderful. You guys all do wonderful. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you. Thank you very much
for showing up.
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it.
Thank you for being all through. Thank you for being all through the session.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, 𝗕𝗺𝗴𝗹. We have another one. This is a very our beloved person, Mr. 𝗕𝗵𝗺 Singh, is the founder and CEO of 𝗕PH𝗺𝗺 Management, and 𝗕PH𝗺𝗺 is IIM. And Mr. 𝗕𝗵𝗺 Singh, can you speak something to our audience, please? Is from India. Mr. 𝗕𝗵𝗺 Singh, are you listening to me? Okay, maybe it's a technical issue.
Maybe 𝗕𝗵𝗺 is not, yeah.
Right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a very fruitful session for us. So it's now time to close our total session. And really, it's a very good session to all of you. Also, you may heard a quote from Richard Branson, which is, business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one is coming, right? So Branson's Virgin has proven that from record labels to airlines, where there is a will, there is a way. The door is not always open, but sometimes it's other or the key is on the floor. All you must do is pick it up and turn the lock. Basically, the right environment for success and flows, but a keen business person is never passive. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to close our session. So I'm liking to invite our Honorable Managing Director of Experts Academy as a special guest and give vote of thanks. I'd like to invite our honorable guest, Mr. 𝗕𝗸𝗀𝗆𝗺 sir. 𝗕ஹ𝗴𝗹𝗻𝒀𝗄𝗵 is the Managing Director of Experts Academy. He's a running director at 𝗕𝗸𝗀𝗆𝗺 Bank Limited and is a former Managing Director of Trust Bank Limited. Please welcome Mr. 𝗕𝗸𝗀𝗆𝗺 for giving his vote of thanks to all participants as well as all resource persons. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ifti, for inviting me to propose a vote of thanks. Good evening and assalamu alaikum. We are all at the fag end of our international webinar on business intelligence. Today we are lucky that we have four very renowned speakers with us. Firstly, we heard from Dr. Atiur Rahman. He is our former governor of Bangladesh Central Bank and a renowned economist. He spoke on economic development of Bangladesh and inclusive development. Thank you, sir, for your thoughtful and very insightful deliberations on our economy. Then we heard from Dr. Kunal Saxena from India. He spoke on artificial intelligence. He related artificial intelligence, how it can help us in our business development. Really a very wonderful presentation, and he's a renowned speaker. And today he spoke on the subject wonderfully, and we enjoyed his deliberations. Thank you, sir, for your kind presence in our webinar.
Thank you. Shukriya, sir. Thank you.
Then we heard from Dr. 𝗕RoBi from Switzerland. Madam Kurdi, you spoke about communication in business and 7 C's of communication. We have learned many things from your deliberations, from your smiling presentation, and all these things. We are very much lucky that you have with us, and we are very much grateful to you for your presence. Then we heard from Dr. Hamza Taki, Mr. Excitement. You spoke about leadership intelligence and 7 P's of marketing and on related matters, where really your presentation was of very high standard. We have enjoyed your presentation, and your way of body language is also very attractive. We have enjoyed
Thank you, Mr. Chaudhry.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here. And I think that everybody in this party, all participants enjoyed your presentation. And then I thank Mr. Yusuf, the future icon, for jointly organizing this webinar with Expert Academy Limited. We are very grateful to them. And also we are very grateful to our participants who have participated for long 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours with us. And they have also put questions to the speakers. It is very good. We have enjoyed this. And we once again thank all of you for joining this international webinar. And hopefully we'll get your services as and when required, I think. So I thank you all. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. 𝗕𝗸𝗀𝗆𝗺 sir. Really, sir, grateful to you. So, dear viewers, now time to close. And I say especially thanks to all of you for being with us. And I also say special gratitude to all our resource persons from different countries and also participants from different countries. I think all of you are stay well, stay good.
Can I say something, sir, before we wind up?
Please speak.
Okay.
Please.
So before we wind up, it was a great experience addressing the wonderful crowd of Bangladesh. Thank you, Experts Academy. Thank you, Future Icon. Thank you, Mr. Yusuf Ifti, for giving wonderful introduction of all about us. Thank you, Mr. Hamza Taki. Thank you, Dr. Rahman. Thank you, Dr. 𝗕RoBi, for being so wonderful co-speakers. And thank you, Mr. Ishtiaq, for giving us a vote of thanks. I thank you for giving a vote of thanks.
Thank you.
So, it was really wonderful. I thank all the participants who were listening to all of us throughout, since the beginning till the end. It's kudos to all of you people who were glued to the screen and listening to us, because all of us come from different domains. We are coming from different horizons of life, and we share different thoughts altogether. So it's like putting 2 different types or 3 different types of pieces of brick in the same wall and then making it look beautiful. So all the credit goes to our designer, Mr. Ifti here, and Experts Academy for doing it. Thank you very much. Shukriya. Allah Hafiz.
Allah.
Shukriya. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz. It's very good night
Allah
and
Hafiz.
good morning
Shukriya.
for Olga. Thank you. And good morning also for Mr. Hamza. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
It's almost noon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Right.
Goodbye. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Salam. Mr. Rahman, good to see you. Bye-bye.